Feel the rhythm of the streets, neon lights and neon dreams. Bloody face, they feel no pain when there's so much more to gain. Hunting season, if you will, tell me where'd you rather be? I can hardly see the moon, hope we'll get there pretty soon. Trying so hard to release you out of the misery. Hold on to your wishes if you can't hold on to me. Forgive me for letting you down. Forgive me for letting you down again. I guess I'm not strong enough right now. I'm not strong enough right now. Forgive me for letting you down. Forgive me for letting you down again. I guess I'm not strong enough right now. Oh my
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome to another week in Geek. And it's an interesting week. A lot of stuff has kind of popped up on the radar this week. WOTC kind of fell on its face again. We had Ant-Man pop up. We had a little situation between Drive-Thru RPG and Red Room. We had some censorship going on with Roald Dahl. It's just all kinds of stuff going on this week. Where to begin, really, I guess. What do you guys say?
I say hello, nerds.
Hi.
What can you... I mean, it's the average week lately, right?
Kinda, yeah. Kind of. I guess I might as well start with this one, because this one may have slipped through everybody's radar a little bit. But, yeah, evidently, Penguin has decided to put Roald Dahl's books through sensitivity reading and have altered the text of the books, which I consider to be a crime against humanity.
Yeah, I saw that.
and this is an example. And Roald Dahl, if you guys don't know who that is, that's the guy who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevators. Mostly a children's author.
Hated children.
Yeah. But yeah, here's an example. Here are examples of some of the things that were changed. Like from The Witches, don't be foolish, my grandmother said. You can't go around pulling the hair of every lady you meet, even if she's wearing gloves. Just you try it and see what happens. Well, the new sensitivity reader edition is, don't be foolish, my grandmother said. Besides, there are plenty of other reasons why women might wear wigs, and there is certainly nothing wrong with that. Wow. That just has all the impact right there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The one that I find that's most baffling is the changes for Matilda there at the bottom.
We're getting there. Who wants to do the second one? I feel like I'm teaching class, but Ironcaster, you do the second one.
Someone.
Okay,
there you go.
Ironcaster, okay, you get to read the second one.
Even if she is working as a cashier in a supermarket or typing letters for a businessman, was changed to, even if she is working as a top scientist or running a business.
Wow. Because women don't work as cashiers in supermarkets or type letters for businessmen now. Now they have to be top scientists or running businesses, right?
That is actually very offensive to women who work as cashiers, which I know plenty. Like I literally live above a supermarket. I'm pretty sure like 90% of the people behind the register are female, and so no, that's not good enough anymore. They got to be top empowerment. Grim, you can take Matilda's. You can get the last one.
She went on olden day sailing ships with Joseph Conrad. She went to Africa with Ernest Hemingway, and to India with Rudyard Kipling. Was changed to, she went to 19th century estates with Jane Austen. She went to Africa with Ernest Hemingway, and California with John Steinbeck. Now, I know why they changed that, because Kipling is seen as an apologist for empire. So,
wow.
That's why, even though he's one of our great literary talents.
It's kind of weird they didn't change Ernest Hemingway, though. He wasn't really well known for, his progressive politics. He was a drunken, big game hunting braggart.
Yeah. Who loved bullfighting.
Yeah.
Elle makes a good point. Isn't that like painting over the Mona Lisa or destroying art? Yes, it is. It very much is. It's just another form of censorship and retelling of history or altering history.
But before we go off on this, is this how it's going to be from now on, or is this like a special edition, and this is being done to get publicity or anything? Do we know anything more about what's actually being done here?
I honestly don't know. This is about the only thing I've heard on it so far.
I will mute myself and clicky clacky and do a little bit of research.
Okie doke. All I can say is that if this is going to be the standard for what they do with classic literature, I can't wait until they run the sensitivity reading through Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, for example.
Well, I mean, that's just it, T-shirt. I mean, this is the full culmination of Orwell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is literally, if you've ever read 1984, this is the stuff that Big Brother, his minions do. I mean, they literally rewrite text.
Yes.
And I agree with the comparison to the Mona Lisa or any other work of art for that matter.
What?
The first just this I found an article about this real quick, and there's a line I found in skimming it.
Uh-huh.
Let me bring this up just to show, because
okay.
So this is from news.com.au. It says Roald Dahl's children's books rewritten to delete references to fat and ugly characters.
Oh yeah. That's what I read that part.
I'll go over the basics of this, but then I get down to here this little bit. References to people being fat and ugly have been well. First off, that's a let me zoom in here. There we go.
That's just modern journalism.
Been removed from much loved works, including Matilda, the BFG, and James the Giant Peach. This is the part that got me. The Oompa Loompas from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory are also now gender neutral.
Why?
From what I've seen, this isn't a one-off. It's for modern audiences.
Yeah.
Now, are they going to note that in the text so that I have a choice to buy, the original, or is this just going to be it?
Yeah,
So here's the thing with Roald Dahl, right? He was a very cruel writer who hated children, as I mentioned, despite being a children's author. And his stuff was always kind of edgy. And the books that we know have already been massively heavily edited because they were a lot nastier when he submitted them. So, I mean, this still feels like unnecessary, but...
I do feel there's a difference between being edited with his approval because he had to go through like the editing process with his publisher, and some sensitivity readers editing it like decades after his death without his say so. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes me angry because no one other than the original creator should have the right to alter a work of art. Whether you like that work of art or not is irrelevant.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with politics. Like, I would be just against it if it was like some left-wing, like progressive book that got edited by like some crazy right-wingers to like be like more right-wing. I would be against that too. Just leave people's works alone.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. I mean, the extremes on both ends are are guilty of a lot of the same sort of things, for lack of a better word.
And something that horrifies me. That I only really just recently considered is the fact that because of the way AI voice cloning technology works, and the fact that a lot of modern music and everything uses audio tuning, how long is it going to be before they go back into old music and start overcutting lyrics with more less offensive lyrics?
Well, they're doing it with children's programming. The Frosty the Snowman special around Christmas time, they revoiced the entire speech of the little girl and cleaned up a couple of lines that I guess were messy. So it's time to make sure that the things that you love that you can preserve and own a copy of, own it. And that makes me sad because I really leaned heavy into embracing digital about 10 years ago. And boy, everything I said, nah, that's never going to happen. They're never going to go that far. It's happening.
Yeah.
I've gotten to a point where, with my own little paranoia of it, I have a 4K player. I do not hook up the internet just because I don't want changes being made to the disc themselves. Yeah, exactly. Because with the digital versions of, say, the Star Wars movies, they went and made those changes about 3 years ago that are now on the digital version that I bought, that I didn't buy when I did. And now I'm just worried, is this going to somehow get put onto the disc, onto basically quote unquote patch the disc to change that? It's no, I don't. I'm going to stick with these old trailers on here because even those, in a way, are kind of part of the nostalgia for this disc. Where it's I remember this, and it always has this trailer with it.
Oh, I mean, imagine them going back and taking some classic music that you really enjoyed, like, let's say, some old Janis Joplin tunes, and them editing out any references to sex and drugs or whatever by using AI voice. And believe me, this shit is really, really good. I've been listening to the Old Testament all week, read by Joshua Graham, and I guarantee you Keith Sharbyjanka has not actually read all that stuff out loud.
Well, it's not even music. They can do it to movies too. I saw some AI thing that can literally make it edits the mouth so it moves with new lines. So you can have different scenes in different languages and the lips match up. They're gonna do that with offensive movies from the 90s, 80s, whatever. You'll have some joke in Mrs. Doubtfire that's considered transphobic, and they edit it out, and then all of a sudden Woman Williams' mouth perfectly matches the new edit.
Didn't they do that with well, actually, I was gonna say no, they haven't actually edited Gone with the Wind, but I imagine that will be a target at some point. Yeah. I know they were removing it from their thing a few years back, so I grabbed a copy as fast as I could.
They removed the guns from ET, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Put radios in
Poorly.
instead.
Walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Yul Brynner, and I'm dead now.
Which is like
Yeah.
I rewatched the original ET recently, and I was discussing that with a friend. Like that didn't bother me as a child that they had guns. That made it more exciting. You wanted him to get away from these evil humans. Like I wasn't like, oh guns, oh I'm afraid. I'm a little child, I'm afraid. It's like stop speaking for children, weird adults. Like we can handle this shit in movies. I did.
I remember distinctly as a child being terrified of, and it was just one impactful scene in E.T., and it wasn't the gun. It was the hand coming through the window and going through the mini blind. That was more frightening to me than the weapon. So...
The scariest scene for me in E.T. is when Elliot is like outside of the greenhouse, and then E.T. comes like waddling out with like a creepy noise, and he's like silhouetted in the light. That shit terrified me as a kid.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not about
Yeah.
the gun itself or the fear factor. It's about the agenda. You know, well, we can't have guns because it promotes the idea that guns are somehow acceptable even in the hands of law enforcement or, you know, so-called law enforcement. I know in the movie they were the bad guys, but still, I mean, they were government agents.
The thing I don't get, the thing I can't wrap my head around is why this is coming from people who consider themselves to be progressive. Because to me, from a progressive, left-wing, pretty radical point of view, you want to preserve the media and so on from the past, if only to show how far we've come. And if you don't have that record, if you don't have that history, if you don't understand that the past is a different country, really, you lose all those lessons, and they have to be relearned potentially in the future in a nasty way. So by excising all this stuff, like the N-word in Huckleberry Finn or whatever, you know, you're erasing the past, and you no longer have perspective on how things have changed. That's not progressive.
No, but that's exactly the point, is that if you remove the benchmark, then you have nothing more to judge progress by, so they can say that progress is whatever they claim it is.
And we've talked about, you know, the pendulum swinging back the other way. The thing that disturbs me is, are the originals still going to be preserved? Or are they going to make these changes? Like with your digital Star Wars, Ironcaster. Are they going to make these changes, and that's the new written in stone tablet for us to go back to? If they make these changes, make these edits, and there's not a master somewhere out there, we're screwed.
Well, they did. Oh, so good.
I was going to say, people will hang on to original copies if they have them, and if they're smart, they'll redistribute them, or they'll find ways to get them into the hands of archivists who will preserve those things. But I almost kind of see this as like some kind of dystopian madness where, you know, you've got people who are sitting on huge hordes of just originally preserved copies of everything in underground vaults and protecting it with guns and everything else from insane progressives who, you know, want to eliminate all traces of these things and being hunted down like, you know, it's like some Fahrenheit, you know, 451 bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
But all it's going to take is one phone call to the government snitch line. They saw how effective it was, specifically on college campuses. There was a report I read over the last week, not nerdy, but 64% of all reports of hate speech or inappropriate political contact or communication was self-reported to these snitch lines. So even the folks with the bunkers, someone's going to call because they're doing their part, right?
And a lot of this media isn't as safe and secure as we'd like to think. Anyway, everyone thought that the internet would route around censorship as if it were damage, but we're finding out that's not really the case. They're getting better and better at hunting down pirated material online. You know, we've seen that in our own little hobby niche, how a whole bunch of history that you can't get access to otherwise has been erased. Early CDs are breaking down because they were made really cheaply. So that's not going to be preserved. Magnetic drives degauss over time.
Yep.
None of these things that we thought were going to make it last forever are actually going to do it. So
No.
Well, to keep it in the TTRPG thing, they did this stuff to me with Roll20. Like, I have like a lot of 5e books on Roll20, and then when that Monsters of the Multiverse, whatever it's called, came out, and they did like all those edits to like the previous books, they went, without asking me, they went into my Roll20 content and just like edited it. So I have like the edited like woke version now, which I don't want, and I didn't pay for. And
Yep.
I was severely mad when that happened.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now Brett mentions that, I won't have a job unless fake history becomes a course. Well, consider the fact that history is kind of a malleable entity to begin with, because we are always conducting new research. There's always new theories that are coming out, and there's always new ways to interpret old data. The problem is which version of that old data and new data gets put into the textbooks and is taught. So, all it takes is the wrong people to advance the wrong theories, and you get a whole section of history that's completely not right,
And academia and even the very idea of objectivity has been so utterly eroded that things are getting rewritten that probably shouldn't be on the basis of spurious speculation. That's another huge problem.
Yeah, how many different translations of the Bible do we actually have now? Because I count at least 9, that you can look up online.
And there's the replicability crisis in psychology and sociology. It's a mess.
Yeah, I mean,
One of the things that does concern me, though, with all the revision and every time we get outraged over these things, is the thought that what about the things that slip by unnoticed, the changes that have happened that no one is the wiser to.
it's pretty horrifying. And Monkey Jeebus, okay. Yeah, your action figures are made of plastic and last forever. No, they won't, my friend. No, they won't.
Sadly not.
Because I have a lot of old action figures and stuff, and plastic will yellow over time. It will become brittle. It will crack, especially depending on what kind of plastic it's made of. I've got old G.I. Joe figures where, they're held together by a big rubber band type thing at the torso. Okay, those things wear out, snap, they corrode, they go bad.
Brittle.
So, they get brittle.
Dry rot on your action figure rubber band is the worst.
And that happens. I got to try and find some rubber bands to replace those or something. Some new ones.
They do make some silicone ones at good hobby shops that you can pick
Oh, good.
up.
Good. Yeah. I should do that because I have quite a collection of them, because G.I. Joe was like one of my passions as a younger person.
Same. I had like all the 3.5-inch figures. I had like a ton of vehicles.
Yeah.
I like the
I had a
big
ton of-
Chinook helicopter, like everything.
Yeah. I had that too. I never did get that aircraft carrier. I always wanted the USS Flag.
Yeah.
And I never did get the Defiant Space Shuttle Complex. I always wanted that one too.
I was
favorite
kicking
one-
myself. About 5 years ago, I was going through in one of these resale stores that's around, like a hobby mall or an antique mall, and one of the stalls there had the aircraft carrier, and I was going back and forth about buying it because it wasn't outrageously priced, but Joe wasn't my thing, so I left it for some other lucky nerd to pick up.
Man, I wouldn't even know where to put it. It's like 7 feet long.
It was huge. It was huge. It was the size of a desk.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even know where to put it now. But
That stuff was cool though.
it was cool. It was.
I
Just,
had one
it's
that was like a big vehicle and it had like two basically nuclear rockets in it that would raise up like this and stand up, kind of like what's that vehicle called? The
Defiant, the Space Shuttle Complex. The one with the big giant, space shuttle and the.
Well, this was like two nukes that came out of like a tank-like vehicle.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one. I guess, and it's GI Joe, huh?
Yeah.
I should know that.
Am I the only Masters of the Universe guy here?
I also had this. I had all sorts of
Universe.
stuff. I had Masters of the Universe. I had like a shit ton of Thundercat stuff. I had like all the Ninja Turtles cartoon like toys. I had like all the.
I got old Transformer stuff still. I got an old Jetfire, and a lot of people still want one of those.
I had like, a lot of Ghostbusters. I had like the building. I had like the Ghostbusters building. That shit was cool.
Oh yeah, but that's like a newer one, Ironcaster. I have like an original Starscream from the first generation.
Well, look. The Transformers I started with was Beast Wars. So like, unless you can pull a Cheetor out of your ass, then
it's so young.
Don't mean much to me.
I have an original Soundwave, dude, that I got way back. That was first generation, and an original Optimus.
T-shirt was already 45 when Beast Wars came out.
Yeah,
I'll be right back. I've got to find something Ghostbusters-ish that you guys will love. Hold on.
Uh-oh. I remember the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I bet it's gonna be like Egon whose eyes bust out of his head.
Yeah, probably. Oh, Egon. Man, that movie made me cry.
What, the new one?
Yeah, it did.
They're doing another one,
sorry.
apparently.
I know they're doing another one, but I don't... I mean, I hope they don't bring him back again, you know what I mean? Just for the...
Well, apparently they're gonna go to New York and actually go like back to the building and stuff now, so...
Oh, okay. Well, that'd be interesting. But I hope they don't bring him back again, because it really seems like his job was done at the end of that film, and, you know... I just can't take CGI Harold Ramis again, because that just killed me. Anyway...
that movie was good for sort of passing the torch, and now it's time to let the OG Ghostbusters sort of kind of fade back and let the kids now have their adventures.
Yeah, because it was the real sequel. It's it's the one that we really wanted for part 3, not that 2016 garbage.
Yeah, you guys like the Ghostbusters Afterlife then, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, compared to the 2016 one, come on now.
True. I just it felt a little young to me. All right, you guys ready?
Oh wow!
Oh,
hey, it's the same.
That's
my
what I'm talking
namesake
about,
on Twitter.
baby.
There you go, Victor.
Yeah, the Stay Buffed man.
All of that for 5 seconds.
Wow. Yeah. Jeez.
Oh, memes of destruction. If you have a Technodrome, DM me, man. I've been looking for one.
There you go. I showed you in the private chat what that vehicle I had was. T-shirt. You can look at it if you want.
Oh, you got it in private chat? Let me see.
I saw one of these at like a little used media.
Oh, yeah, I remember
that's
that.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I want to say my friend had one of those. It's based on like a Hemet, kind of.
I also had this one, the Cobalt speedboat, and then my brother gave it to me. He said, "Yeah, it'll float in the bath." And I put it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So that boat,
my friend had that.
That boat I put in the bath because my brother said, like, yeah, it'll float in the bath. And I did, and it just sank immediately.
Oh, yeah. That one's not designed to float. The whale, I had the whale, though. That thing did float.
Yeah.
The hovercraft, that thing was cool, man. It was also huge. Way bigger than it needed to be. Look at us. We're nerding out here. It's good times.
Yeah, I love toys.
I do, too. I mean, you know.
My neighbor had that thing. Is that the whale?
That's the whale. That's the one I had. Yeah.
That's the one I like to play with when I went next door.
Yeah. That one thing was fun, man. Plus, it was in all the comic books, so, you know. I have to admit, man, it's one of those cases where the comic books were awesome and helped sell the toys more than anything else because the comic books made the toys better. Not so much the cartoons. The cartoons were okay, but the comic books were really, really good. Because, you know, written by Larry Hama and illustrated by, not Steve Ditko, but Herb Trimpe, who is actually the cousin of one of my dear friends. Good guy. Yeah, I had that one there, the Tomahawk.
Yeah, same.
That thing was cool. That's pretty
sizable.
It was pretty big. It was pretty big. It wasn't as big as the whale, but it was big. Yeah. Oh yeah, Whitechapel remembers the GI Joe Rolling Thunder missile launcher. Yeah, I wanted one of those, but not that bad. It kind of got to the point where on GI Joe there was so many vehicles that it was just kind of like you kind of had to pick and choose what you really wanted because you just couldn't afford it all unless your parents were just like super wealthy or you had a job.
I actually got all of my stuff secondhand, either from flea markets or my brother gave them to me when he was like too old to play with them.
Oh.
Who's
That's
the elf
cool.
on the shelf in the back of the chopper?
Oh, that was the guy. That was the laser guy. Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, the guy in the red. Yeah, him.
That's Lifeline, the medic.
See,
I-
I'm not a Joe fan.
And the guy next to him is Roadblock on the heavy machine guns. The guy up front is the laser trooper, and then the guy falling out of there is not Ripcord. I can't remember his name, but I had him. He was
Well, if
pretty
he's
cool.
not Ripcord, he's fucked.
No, he was another paratrooper type.
Yeah, I had Whipcord. He was cool. But I had one. He had like a black beret and like a beret or whatever you want to fucking call it, and like a big mustache, and he looked like Saddam Hussein. And this was like the early '90s, so this was like right after like the first Gulf War. So in my child's mind, it's like, oh, Saddam Hussein, this bad guy. So like I would just always have like the other Joes like abuse the shit out of him. They would just always beat him up and like shoot him and stuff.
Oh, Airborne. Yeah, that's Airborne. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, the Sky Striker was always bigger than Tomahawk. I never owned a Sky Striker, and I never owned one of those, the Nighthawk either. My friend had a Sky Striker, and he had a Nighthawk, and the Nighthawk was cool as hell, man. But yeah, my friend had one of those.
Nice.
Yeah, good times, man. Good times. Oh, well.
There was also a lot of like knockoff GI Joe toys over here. They were like really cheap, but they had like cool vehicles and stuff, and they were like the same size, like and the figures were the same size, so they were like very interchangeable. So you could get like really cool vehicles for like a fraction of the price and just use them with your Joes.
G.I. John.
Yeah,
pretty
Whitechapel.
much.
I had the send away Sergeant Slaughter, and I did have the refrigerator Perry. I still have Perry and Slaughter, and they're both the originals, the ones that you had to get the send off for. Grim is probably going, I don't know any of this shit, man. I didn't buy Action Force.
My brother did.
Well, in Britain and in Europe, the big Action Man, the 12-inch ones, they were called, the GI Joes, they were called Action Man over here.
Yeah, Action Man.
Yeah, I had like a bunch of stuff of those too.
Grim, I didn't even realize you had a brother.
Yes. He's an enormous Neanderthal who's 4.5 years younger than me.
What, does he beat on people for fun or what?
He has opinions about sports.
No, he
So,
doesn't
Grim,
beat on
what
people
was
for
the
fun.
toy cartoon of choice for you?
Boy, I do, Cal.
So we had satellite TV like really early, an enormous dish in the back garden that you had to go out and you had to move the dish
Yeah.
to track different satellites and so on. So I used to be able to watch a satellite TV kids show called Roustabout on Eutelsat. So I was well into my Robotech and things like that, and no one at school had the slightest idea what I was talking about because it wasn't on terrestrial TV. So
You fucking nerd.
yeah, that and Jason the Wheeled Warriors. And
Those were
That's
cool.
one
I
that
never had
nobody
any.
ever rememers or talks about is Jason the Wheeled Warriors.
I
I've got a
remember
Sawboss back here.
I remember JC and the Wheel Warriors, but I never actually got. I think I got to collect one or two of them, but we never got into it really heavily.
and OG Voltron.
Yeah.
I was into that weird sort of Marionation anime called Starfleet,
Oh wow, cool.
which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been called something else in the States.
Anyone remember Dino Riders?
Yes.
Yes.
They were expensive.
Yeah.
What about Inhumanoids? Does anyone remember the Inhumanoids?
Yeah.
Dude, I had all the Inhumanoids. I had all the
Yeah.
Inhumanoids, and I have all the cartoons.
Yeah, it's called this panel. Also,
X-Bomber.
Yeah.
Starfleet was X-Bomber.
Yeah, I remember those, the Dino Riders. Yeah.
And the mask Crusaders with like the They had like the cool vehicles with like the little figures.
Mask.
That was just Mask. Mobile Armored Strike Command with a K.
Yeah. I tried to collect those, but they were really expensive. My friend actually had the entire collection, though. Then there was the Air Raiders, which I collected a little bit of that. I didn't get everything because they were expensive and they went out pretty quick. Hasbro was always releasing stuff that didn't last very long.
Partially by design, right? Because then there's always something new in the pipeline. Gosh, if they had good business sense now.
Oh, imagine that.
Centurions.
I remember Centurions. I got those when they were like on their way out, but I got them super cheap. But I got all of them. But I remember the cartoon was fun.
I don't remember the name of this, but I had the spaceship that came with the VHS tape, and the spaceship was a light gun that you
Captain
played
Power
along.
and the Soldiers of the Future.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you.
I was super huge on that. I think I was the only kid who collected that because I was so into that. I watched the TV show and taped every episode religiously every Sunday. I only had the one. Actually, I only had 2 Captain Power vehicles because they were expensive as shit. But
didn't J. Michael Straczynski write for that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. It was a cool series, man. If you can find like old collections of Captain Power on like eBay or something, collected editions, get them because they were good. They were kind of ahead of their time. I mean,
it's kind of dark for a kids show, wasn't it? It was a bit Terminator-y.
It was. It had a lot of promise, though.
Yeah, it died because the CGI was too expensive.
Yeah, and not a lot of kids could afford it because the damn all the interactive jets and stuff were just way expensive. But man, what a day! Mighty Orbots. Yeah, I never saw the toys, but yeah, the TV series was great. Whitechapel. I agree. I loved Orbots. I used to watch that every week. Man, wasn't it great growing up with Saturday morning cartoons? Don't you wish you had gotten up this morning and watched cartoons?
I miss Cops. It's crime fighting time.
I have volume 1 and 2 of the cartoons.
Yeah,
I love those.
Turbo
Misdemeanor. Turbo Two-Tone. I showed off the intro once on the channel and it got copyright claimed. So yeah, thanks guys.
I think I'm like the youngest one here because I went with a lot of the '90s toys. So like I got Beast Wars.
See, I never got any Beast Wars because I was out of Transformers at that point. I was already grown up.
It was like that and Legos were the big things for me.
Man, Brave Star was good. Bionic 6 was good. What was it? Galaxy Rangers? Silverhawks, yes.
In fact, the little dude and I this morning, because television sucks now. We watched some Silverhawks. He's really into cartoons of the '80s, and I'm absolutely okay with that.
Nice.
Well, one of the best intros was Starcom. Starcom was awesome.
I never got to see that.
A really good animation.
Yeah. Ah, man. You know what? You know what you should do is I'm probably too old to ever have kids at this point, but if I ever did, and if you guys out there have kids, and all you guys watching, if you're still young enough that you got kids who are still living in your house, do yourself a favor, man. Go buy all those old cartoons because they sell entire runs of those cartoons on eBay pretty cheap. And just every Saturday morning, man, just go have a cartoon Saturday morning for your kids. Just tell them, okay, we're gonna watch an episode of this, and we're gonna watch an episode of this. Don't let them binge watch the whole damn thing.
Then I'm gonna scream adverts at you for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. And don't forget to stick a big giant bowl of crunchy sweet cereal in front of them because that's that's the thing, man. You sit there with a whole box of cereal and just devour that thing while you're watching all day.
Get them now before they're digitally altered.
Yes.
See, that's
definitely.
I've been buying a lot of them on box sets. Like, and it's some of the stuff that I didn't even watch growing up. So like, I've got the entire set of He-Man and
I got that.
Thundercats.
Wish I had Thundercats. I don't yet. I do have the entire run of Dungeons and Dragons, though, the cartoon. Yes, Cal, I bought Thundar twice, once on DVD and once on Blu-ray.
What about
Because it's so
Conan
awesome.
the Adventurer?
I have Conan the Adventurer.
Nice.
You
Yeah.
know what I like, and I have, and everyone will point and laugh, but I actually enjoy it, is the horrible animated Legend of Zelda series.
Excuse me, princess.
Excuse me, princess. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
It was
one.
a really good show. At least young me wants to fondly remember it as such, and I'm not going to watch it again so that I don't think otherwise.
I remember Captain N. That
Yeah,
was
which-
not good.
Yeah, that
So you
title
mentioned-
is a bit offensive these days.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Legend of Zelda cartoon, and I feel like because it's tangentially connected. Did you happen to see the new Mario trailer from the
Yes.
Super Bowl?
Yep.
No.
No, I did
did.
not.
I did not watch the Super Bowl.
And made me happy.
So, you guys got to do yourself a favor. Go track down this commercial for the Mario movie because they play the theme song from the Super Mario Brothers Super Show in it. They do the Mario rap.
Yeah.
That's great, Captain
it's-
Lou.
It's Nintendo basically finally acknowledging that exists.
This is so funny, Al, because before I ever even got to see the Thundercats TV show, the very first figure I ever saw in the store was Mum Ra, and I thought he was the coolest thing ever because he had the little ring that you could plug the battery into and make his eyes light up and stuff. Plus, he just looked cool. And yes, I remember Galaxy High and Kid Video. In fact, I saw the opening video for Kid Video not long ago. That there's a dude on Twitter, Serpentor's Lair, and he's always posting stuff for like from the nostalgic '80s, you know, all the kids shows and everything like that. And I'm always glued to his Twitter feed because everything that he's posting is like, I remember that.
I sat there and watched advertisements from '86 for an hour the other night. So,
Wow.
it's just things were we're so old. Things were such a different and more. I don't want to use the term wholesome.
No.
But it was just a more genuine time. You know,
Yeah.
we knew that they were selling us back then, and it was okay because we wanted this. We wanted to be sold, as opposed to now it's like a super psyop. No, just make an ad, guys.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it was just fun back then because, you know, you could play with your toys and have a good time and you didn't worry about it.
Yeah, it was somehow more honest because they weren't trying to hide it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we made this cartoon just to sell you toys, and it's
Right.
going to be great. Yeah.
And in Dungeons and Dragons case, they kind of weren't selling the toys because they never did make actual figures of the characters from the cartoon,
Until this year, and they're $50. It's ridiculous.
and they don't look all that great. So, fucking WOTC.
Is that a good segue?
Yes, why not? Let's
Is
let's
there
just-
ever a good segue to WOTC?
let's do it.
I miss when like hyper capitalists were just like right wingers in suits and cigars, and all they cared about was just making money, and they just did
Yeah.
whatever was needed to make money, and they didn't fucking mix in politics and ideology and all that stuff. That's where it went wrong. Like, just give me like some OCP CEO who just wants to sell me like the latest like goodies and doesn't care about social justice.
But he has to
Exactly.
talk like a 1920s villain. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, we're going to sell you this, see?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, plastic crap. Yeah.
Well, you know what,
Bright
guys?
pastel colors on it. It'll all sell like crazy. The kids will buy any of it. They'll
don't
make their
even-
moms
don't
and
even
dads to buy it.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'll tell you what. Hell, we're gonna make these movies, and they're gonna be shit. I mean, we're gonna make it for like a $2 million, but we're gonna get all our money back because all the kiddies are gonna see this, and then we're gonna make $4 billion back on the toys that we sell from the movie. Because yeah,
See, back in the day,
Yeah.
I want that guy as CEO of Hasbro.
I do too.
Yeah.
I want that so much more than we will micro monetize every single thing out there and make you pay for it again and again and again and
we're gonna
again
do
and
this for
again.
your own good.
Yeah.
And we're into this for your own good.
And this next module was only made by queer people of color. Like, I don't care. Make a good module. I don't give a shit who made it.
There were absolutely no people of Caucasian persuasion who were involved in the creation of this adventure.
Yeah.
Like that's a selling point. T-shirt is rewriting history again. No, I'm not. I'm not rewriting shit, dude. You talking about this? Ah.
Oh, yeah, but that wasn't the characters.
Yeah.
So, what have Wizards done this week? T-shirt, eating a baby live on television, kicked a puppy.
They actually, okay, let's see, what have they done? Let's see, they said that the D&D Beyond cancellations did not actually hurt them at all, which is bullshit because we know that the actual numbers from that they haven't gotten yet. They'll get it later on. And if I check Hasbro stock this week, what does Hasbro stock this week look like? Okay, Hasbro stock today is up, but over the last 5 days, it's actually gone up 1.76 over the past 5 days.
But zoom out a little further.
Yeah, over the last month, it's still down. So, yeah, still not doing well. On the other hand, Mattel and Tomy are doing pretty well. Mattel actually went up a lot. It went up 3.91%. Wow, good job, Mattel. But I hear that a lot of complaints are about Guard Bro showing up on Channel 8. No,
yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm fucking with you, Guard Bro. I'm glad to see you.
Can't take me anywhere, man. I come in, I ruin the vibe. It's horrible.
Yeah. No.
You missed all the toys, Guard Bro. We talked about
missed all the
G.I.
toys.
Joe. And...
Well, I was listening on the way home. I was like, man, I'm late, but I'll have to teach a guy how to play a game. And apparently, toy sales are coming back, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Or at least model sales, or like model kit sales.
Well, I imagine. But here's the thing. It's like, okay, as far as I know, the collectors who are big into buying all the Hasbro new stuff, and I'll be honest, man, I've taken a look at all their new G.I. Joe classified files shit, and it looks cool as hell, man. If I was a kid, I would want the hell out of that. But they're wanting $40 a piece for some of these things, and I'm just like, there's no way.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're preying on adults like us who know they have the money for it, but kids are going to be priced out of it.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is, it's ultimately the market buying the toys now aren't children. It's
they're all man children.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to buy G.I. Joes again and just play with them in the bathtub. That sounds great.
Yeah, well, me too.
Kids are all interested in their bibbity bops and their boopity boops.
In their TikToks and their tweeters.
TikToks and their tweeters and their Pornhubs. They're just not into toys.
Yeah, they really are, and their TikTok stupidity with doing crazy stuff.
Series of toys.
Yes, I could.
Toys, yes. Toys in the sense we've been talking about them. No.
We sound like a bunch of old guys, you know.
6 pounds.
We are.
We sound like my grandfather. This damn country went to hell when the Beatles came over here. You know. It's just,
actually, it's one of the reasons.
The day of the British invasion.
That's one of the reasons I invited. That's one of the reasons I invited Dying Breed to be on the panel from now on, and a permanent Week in Geek members, because now I'm not the oldest person on it.
This is true. You guys were talking about action figures and the G.I. Joe, and I'm like, when I played with G.I. Joe, he was like a foot tall.
Yeah, those still around. I actually sold some recently. I had some.
Those are worth a lot of money.
I had some laying around for like a couple decades. There was like a World War one I had. There was like a World War II one, and I picked them up for like €20, like when I first got them, and I sold each of them for like I think like 200. So
what the hell's a euro?
It's the superior money.
It actually is.
Face sandwiches.
Yeah, is that one of them sandwiches made with pita bread?
Yeah, I mean, oh fuck, now I'm hungry. I could go.
Man,
for
I
one.
love Peter bread.
We're gonna know it real well in about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
He says only partially kidding.
He says only partially kidding. Well, actually, I think what it is, like whatever the Chinese are making right now is going to end up becoming the superior form of currency, like in the future. But
Yeah, I've seen.
But until then,
there's gonna be collapse probably of not only of all their neighborhoods and building constructs, but probably their money as well. It's all being held up by more or less a very controlled political party.
Yeah,
you heard it here first, folks. Buy rupees.
They are buying gold hand over fist right now, though. So that's disturbing. But we're not talking politics. We're talking about wizards because that's so much better.
Yeah,
they should be buying actual concrete to make their homes. But whatever.
What's another horrendous monster that hoards gold? Dragons. So
yes, Dungeons and Dragons.
Chinese dragons. Anyway,
but yeah. They were saying like the D&D Beyond thing wasn't hurting them, and that their forecasts were looking good, and But in the meantime, Bank of America has like slapped them like 2 or 3 times with the no confidence and this kind of stuff. So
yeah,
what they did from this. Oh, go ahead, Dying Breed. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say that their future is looking good because of short-term memory. Everybody's kind of forgotten, even though it's just been less than a month or whatever. And people who were staunchly against it are now completely capitulating.
Yeah.
From a stock perspective, the only reason the stock is recovering is because they maintained a pretty outrageous dividend. So investors that don't give shits about toys or Dungeons and Dragons or anything are looking at this dividend saying it's it's on the far end of the bell curve as far as dividends go. They reinstated a 70-cent dividend, I want to say, which for their earnings puts them more than 2 standard deviations away from the average. So from a stock standpoint, it's going to perform. But stocks that are good don't always correlate with a company that is good, and companies that are great don't always correlate with a good stock. There are great companies that have terrible stocks, and vice versa, which is what we're seeing. We have a great stock opportunity here, but a shitball company.
Yeah, and I think they are banking a lot on that Honor Among Thieves being a big hit. So
the biggest thing is that people forget that the best way to blind someone is not by a knife; it's by money. When you throw a green in front of their face, they can't see their own feet in front of them. And if you want to blind someone the most permanent way, you just keep throwing those cash dollars in front of their eyes, and they'll never see a bad thing coming. And it's kind of been that way for the last, I think, probably 3 or 4 years. Think of all the money, basically when people started like kowtowing to all these horrible ideas, like, I don't know, making certain characters female or making certain things woke or for the message. They kept look at all the money it'll bring, all this money it'll bring in, and now they're realizing the money's not there. It's why we're seeing a very slow collapse of Hollywood, including this new D&D movie coming out. It's going to be absolute junk, probably.
Yeah,
L has a good point here. The $7 million spent on a 30-second ad for D&D and it aired pregame. Yeah, I think that brought a lot of heat back to them.
As they laid people off, yeah, great idea.
Yeah, on paper it really looks good that you made more money because you got rid of a bunch of jobs and don't have to pay those people that week.
Because you liquidated people.
Yeah.
I got the impression from what they presented in their last stockholders meeting and so on, that it's not so much the movie they're pinning their hopes on, it's Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, it's funny about Baldur's Gate 3 because that is built on the 2014 5e rules, but then they're throwing all their baskets into the one D&D, all the eggs into the one D&D basket. So that kind of seems like a little bit schizophrenic. Like, they're banking on this game that's like built on the old school rules, the old school rules, and then the actual tabletop game is like moving away from those. So
and the goddamn game has been in alpha or has been in beta for what, almost 3 years now?
Yeah. Yes, there's no hype around it anymore.
No. And I mean, what are they going to do? Are they just going to keep patching it until it goes lockstep with one D&D? Good luck, man.
Yeah,
I remember when the Baldur's game that came out on PS2, how good that game was. You could play it 3, 4, 5, 7 times in a row and still get joy from it. This new game, I got barely a quarter way through. I was already fucking tired of it. Like, I hate this. Like
yeah,
it didn't have that Dungeons and Dragons aspect to it. It's kind of like cash grab.
It just feels like every other generic. What is it? What the hell is the name of those other games? You know, like Pillars of Fire and all that other shit.
The isometric TTRPGS.
Yeah.
The isometric. I think Garbo was talking about the Dark Alliance games though, like this hack and slash ones, because he mentioned PlayStation 2. And there was that recent Dark Alliance ones. That was like Drist and like his crew.
And that one was terrible.
Oh yeah, because it was a buggy mess and completely unbalanced, and it was like it was kind of fun if you like look past that, but like it was just really broken.
Yeah, Pillars of Eternity, and what was the other two that came out? I don't want to see Divinity 1 and 2, and all these other games that are pretty much following the exact same formula. You know, it's kind of like, what is Baldur's Gate 3 going to be now? It's really got to be special if you're going to want it. And I'm, for one, I'm sick of it.
Can it be special though? Like,
no.
Think of all the things that made games special and what it's all been missing. It's just like I'm trying to find a word for it, but it's basically a hook. You know, the thing that pulls you in, and usually it's the story or the graphics or the characters. But like I went on because I'm thinking I want to buy a video game, so I went through and I tried to find a video game to buy. I'm going through Steam and all these AAA games and the top rated, and it seems like the best games right now are the ones who are made by literal nobodies.
Yeah, indies.
I think we touched. I think we touched on indie games last week, and I thought I would actually explore that topic and do my own research. You know, and it seems like every big name game has no fucking soul to it whatsoever.
No, well, because it's formulaic now. I mean, are you honestly hyped? Are you honestly hyped for the next Assassin's Creed is coming out?
No,
I gave up on Odyssey.
Well, Odyssey is what it is. I mean, I liked Valhalla. I like Valhalla a lot. Do I play it every day religiously? No. So that tells you right there that my interest in it is tangential at best. You know what I do play religiously every day? Fallout. Still.
World of Warcraft Classic.
Which Fallout?
I can really only get New Vegas and Fallout 4 to run. If I could get Fallout 3 to run without locking down my computer, I would definitely do it. But I have not been able to do that because Fallout 3 is my favorite.
Have you tried it? Go ahead, Vic.
If you were to chat like me, you would just play Fallout 1 and 2. But, you know.
I actually tried to play Fallout 1, and I really found it slow with that interface.
Those are unuser friendly. Yeah, those are very early video games.
That sounds like fucking weakness to me.
No, it's not. It's not fucking. You want weakness, motherfucker? Go back and play Wasteland 1.
Yeah, I have. I played it on the Commodore 64. You don't have to
put it on the Commodore.
Yeah. I played it on the Commodore. I played the IBM version.
Now, T-shirt, have you tried Fallout 3 recently? Because there was a patch. It slips my mind when it was, but it was in recent memory that addressed all of those compatibility issues. And I actually gave it a shot, and it ran without any sort of... Because I remember I had to do all sorts of crazy compatibility modes and then bring in hacked startups and change things in the source. They released a patch. It's within the last 6 months that cleaned up a lot of that so that it was more friendly to run again.
Oh, hey, Lotspec this is the guy. This guy played through an entire thing in New Vegas. This is Fallout 3 recently started working in Proton Zero issues. Yeah, before there was a little tweaking. Yeah.
This all sounds like Sparkle Gamer nonsense to me.
It does not sound like Sparkle Gamer
nonsense. I got this thing in my eye, Vic. Sorry.
With the subject of the indie games, though, it's like one of the best ones from last year. It was a $5 game called Vampire Survivors.
Hold on, Ironcaster. Victor, this is free. Thank you.
Can I piggyback on this before we throw it to Ironcaster?
Sure.
Sparkle Troll is recognized by ChatGPT now, so I am officially a neologist. So, F you all.
How long before you get banned off Twitter for using it?
I just got reinstated magically, so I give it at least 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
What I'm curious is like
I like all those old games, Victor, but the problem is it's like, you know, they were good for their time, and if we were still living in those times, it would be fine. But
they're still good. It just requires a little bit of a different mindset. I still love Fallout 2. Like, it's supposed to be slow. You're supposed to take your time going through it, talking to all these cool NPCs, solving all these cool mysteries and quests and stuff. It's not just shooty, 2D McFoodie game. So,
well, I'm sorry, but I mean, you know, that's just kind of what I enjoy.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I like those old games. I really do. And I will go back and play them when I have time. But time is something I don't have anymore. So it's kind of like, you know, it's New Vegas.
I'm just a Fallout purist, and I remember the days after Fallout 3 came out that people
Back in my day.
pretended like all those games were like the only ones. It's like, it's called Fallout 3 for a reason. There was 2 before that.
Yeah.
And yeah, people
it's like the people who think Skyrim is the first Elder Scrolls game.
It's not. But go back and play Dagger. Well, Daggerfall was good, so I can't say that. But I mean, if you go back and try to play like Arena, wow, that was. I mean, I did go back and try to play it. I'm sorry, man. I played through all of Morrowind, and I really don't see the appeal. I just don't.
Also, I'm not gonna take your nonsense, God, bro. I remember what we did on the last stream with the Monster Girls. You don't have a leg to stand on.
What? I have 3 legs actually because Monster Girls. But what I found kind of curious is that like I kind of judge the metric by World of Warcraft actually. If you look at it, because I'm playing it right now actually as we're talking, is that
they do
retail WoW. Yeah, retail WoW is losing players to Classic. Because there's no, like, if you ever go through and play retail WoW, it's very, like, basically hand-holding, you're the hero, smack your ass, you're a good guy.
I remember, yeah.
And these new kids coming in are finding classic WoW to be more challenging, to the point that the most popular form right now of WoW is the self-imposed, fan-created hardcore challenge. Because it adds a little bit of spice to the game. To the point that they're calling on Blizzard to make their official hardcore server, because more or less there's no games out there that are worth playing, to the point that rather just play WoW but harder. Like, that's how barren the game sphere is right now. People
it's also kind of like the Nuzlocke challenges with Pokemon, where people will go and impose their own rules on that.
All right. See, this is a subject I know a lot about because I actually was part of all that shit way back in the day. Now, if you were part of those old, huge raid teams that would actually have to sit down and do all the math to calculate how to get through each boss and when to time everything perfectly, and all the mechanics of the game just set up perfectly in order to defeat a raid boss. If you enjoy that kind of shit and you have all that time to sit down and do it, then yes, Classic WoW is perfect for you, because I remember those days and they were hard. Because you had a lot of fucking mats that you had to collect to build stuff, and you had to work with other people to collect things. And gaining levels was grindy as you would not believe. I remember those days. I remember those days, and I don't want to go back to those. I've had those days. I don't want them anymore. I'm too old for that shit. I've got other things to do. So
it won't appeal to everybody. I'm not saying it's a one catch-all. That'd be a horrible logical fallacy to try and follow.
Yeah.
I think WoW had a good balance going for a while, like doing Pandaria and stuff. Like the gameplay was very fun. It was still challenging, but they did have some quality of life features that were sorely needed.
Which is funny because most of your hardcore older players who were coming out of those older editions hated Pandaria. They said that was the worst expansion.
Well, they hated
ever.
it because of the setting, and they, it's like, oh, it's furries. It's like, yeah, but like it was actually like one of the most fun fucking expansions as far as like content went.
Yeah, I don't know that they toyed with the idea of player agency, of making you choose what faction you want to go to, and a lot of games simply lack that player agency. And I think there's a fear of it. It's kind of like a bad GM where you could just have a whole party have their own idea, or you can do it pure railroad. Everything's very controlled. There's no surprises. I don't know. It's really hard to try and nail which is more appealing to the grand masses. Do you want to be on tracks or go in a big sandbox kind of thing? And like, I think every game I've played that's been a AAA game or kind of below that have all been on rails. There's been very little like choose your own adventure aspect going on with any real modern game. It's usually completely on rails. You're in a very tight alleyway. I think the only exception that would be like the Witcher series. It was like rails light, where you had rails, but you can't step off the rails for a bit. But eventually, you had to return back to the rails to continue the story. I don't mind those as much.
Well, yeah, it's called sandbox gaming, guard bro.
Yeah. Well, sandbox light, like it wasn't like sandbox, like RuneScape or some damn thing where there was no objective. Like I think the last sandbox game I played was truly sandbox.
Oh,
and his sound went away.
You just lost your sound.
You just lost your sound, guard bro. Did you unplug your microphone again?
For shame.
Nope, can't hear you, bub. Can't hear you. Anyway,
he said last.
Sorry, dude. We'll let you get back to that when you get back to it.
How about now?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Anyway, just forget it.
I remember Dragon's Age. The first Dragon Age was like perfect because it was difficult. It was difficult as hell, but you still had fun going through it. And despite how challenging and hard it was, everything was fun. I mean, it was fun to talk to characters. It was fun to build up NPCs. It was fun to do all those things. And it still holds up today pretty well. Then they brought out Dragon Age 2, and what the hell happened there?
Dragon Age 2, Dragon Boogaloo.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then Dragon Age, whatever the latest one is, Inquisitor. Yeah, which everybody's like, oh, that's so great. And I'm like, dude, it's so stretched out and ridiculous. It's like...
Actually, there's a point. Like, a lot of games seem to want to deal mostly in filler, like just busy work. Like, I don't mind like side quests that mean something, but a lot of games are just pure busy work. Like, oh yeah, go do the thing, and now go do this. It's like you're just kind of padding out the game time.
Bring me 10 rat tails.
Yeah.
Shinatsky, I know Dragon Age 2 had short development time, but it still sucked. The fact that you had no player agency at all. Basically, you had to play Hawk, and it was male or female Hawk, and they had predetermined lines.
Hawk
or Hawk-esque, and it was all about being in one city. It was bullshit. It was crap. coming from Dragon Age 1, where you could 2 different types of dwarf, 2 different types of elf, 2 or 3 different types of human, and all of their different backstories mattered and made you want to go back and replay to find out all the shit that you missed.
The desire to go seek out the small things, the desire to go and learn the backstory. Where is the desire? Like
exactly.
Like I'll interview people in GameStop because I'll like, hey you, and I'll point at them. Oh shit, like come here, I'll talk to you because it freaks people out and it's fun to do that. But I always want to see like, well, what games do you play and why do you play them? And it seems like everyone's going backwards, dude. like oh yeah, I found these 4 games on Steam that I like from like 2010. I was like, you playing the modern games? No. They'll buy a bunch of toys and like merch or T-shirts, but they won't actually buy the modern. Actually, that's wrong. That's wrong. The only game that I've heard of being bought, people liked, is the new Hogwarts game. That's the only thing I've heard of.
A lot of people like that game. Yeah, a lot of people, and they're seeing like little Easter eggs from Dark Souls and stuff in there too.
And there's been mods to where they change all the all the pictures of like Gachimuchi and shit. All the portraits. And like there's a mod where it changes them all to like Ricardo dancing in the fucking portraits and shit. And so fucking cracks me up. But there are guys and girls who are going on like their 4th playthrough of that fucking game already. Like I want to do it again, and they're burning through it all over again. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how divisive. First of all, the game's so good, yet it's so divisive. I guess the good games are all divisive now. Like there's like Silvervein is a VTuber, right? Big Hololive. Is it Hololive? Anyway, it's Silvervein. She actually got flamed on stream and like had a breakdown because people were trying to bully her over the fucking Hogwarts game.
I've seen him doing that.
Yeah, it's infecting everybody, and I wish folks was just like, hey, leave me alone. Let them play the funny wizard game. You know what I mean? Like
the funny thing is that the game is actually very woke. but it's not the wokes that like it. The wokes hate it, and it's just like the normies and like the based people that play it. So yeah, it's a very weird situation.
You're saying about what drives engagement, right? Well, with the Hogwarts game, the Wizard game, you've got a meta reason to be engaged with it. Yeah, in that there is drama and so on around it. So, is it that the game's good? I don't know. I'm not that into Harry Potter. It might be good enough to overcome everything that people have thrown at it. The publicity certainly helped it sell, but people have a reason to be invested.
Shoehorned wokeness aside, it is actually very cool. As if you like the movies at all, and if you like the books at all, it is very cool to just be able to like go through the castle and like walk everywhere, like go to like all over the grounds,
explore.
To like actually see like the world that they described in the books and like you glimpsed in the movies, to see that from like your own perspective, to
a
like
different
walk around.
time. Before there was before Harry Potter, before Voldemort, it was the before times, and that's really is enchanting for some folks because they can see before the book ever happened how the world was before Voldemort, or even like what's his name,
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
I don't know.
Dumbledore, that guy.
You just spoke a load of Chinese Greek to me because I don't know any of that shit. I don't do Harry Potter.
Nor me.
I don't care about Hogwarts. It means nothing to me.
Like literally, like I'll be in a fucking ASV gunner basket with earplugs in, listening to the fucking audiobook, and while in the army, just gunning down shit. Like that's how much I like Harry Potter. But that was but that's just because it's like my escapist childhood thing was Harry Potter and books in general.
Oh, okay.
And I guess the one thing is, are kids even reading books nowadays? Are kids reading and having to yearn to explore things narratively? Is that even a thing nowadays, or is it all in
kids don't usually read these days?
Yeah, it's a phrase at a time on a TikTok video, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, they don't even use proper grammar or sentences anymore.
Yo, what up, cuz?
I guess that might be an American thing, because both my niece and nephew are avid readers. My niece is actually a huge fan of the same writer that I was a fan of as a kid. I actually showed her a picture of me getting an autograph with that writer when I was like 10, and she was like so like that blew her mind. Like my uncle was like almost 40. Like when he was 10, he met my favorite writer, and he was like a fan of that too. Like back then, it's like
okay. Victor, yeah, okay, but that's your personal experiences. There are exceptions, but when I say kids in general don't read, I'm saying in general. I mean, like overall as a group. Yes, there are. I'm not saying all kids don't read, but I'm saying a big percentage of them don't. Because we have programs here in the United States like a million word reader and all that stuff, and we've got those kids who will read.
I wasn't talking about personal perspective. I was talking from a Dutch perspective. Like, I think that is a very American thing and not so much a European thing, maybe. Because I think reading over here is still very popular.
It may be regional, because I know in the Midwest kids read a lot because you read on a tractor. but I don't know what like inner city kids are doing, because it seems like they're mostly just TikToking and fucking meth.
Yeah, Garbro, were you here when we went through the tour of Camden? That's what they're doing. That's
tour of Camden.
Oh, you weren't here that week.
You weren't here for that week. That was last week.
That's what they're doing. They're exploring urban decay and glued to their phones, and there really isn't. It was bizarre. I spent time in rural Connecticut this week. Don't ask. But it was refreshing because I saw in a removed from an urban setting, it's far enough from New York that they don't have the city influence. I actually saw children reading, which is something I haven't seen for a handful of years. So it was people do this. So tractors and skiers apparently read.
And Victor, this is from Green Dragon. Green Dragon's in Germany, so I mean, if the German guys are noticing this,
Germany, they're not allowed to read over there because they
what?
Waste time reading. This is not an efficient use of my time. I should be working.
What is it you're reading? Is it improved lists?
Germans in general are weird. We don't listen. I love you, Green Dragon.
I love Green Dragon, and yeah, I do actually like Germans. There's a lot of German
Also,
stuff I do like. So.
There is probably a difference between the Netherlands and Germany, and like also, we are at the end of the day we are our own countries. So,
well, the cool thing is the two of you guys pretty much like live like within like shitting distance of each other, so you can just walk over to each other's house and talk.
I don't know why
you're always in shitting distance of a German.
Yes,
pretty much.
I mean, now try that over here. I'm in fucking Texas. Okay, I can't go walk over and go see Dying Breed, even though he's like only like a couple of states over.
It's like an 8-hour drive.
Right,
I mean,
it's it's more like a 12-hour drive.
Yeah, it's like 12 hours to T-Shirt's place from my house. He's welcome anytime.
Yeah,
like you're talking to Europeans, like, oh, he lives over here in France. Oh, cool. Like, go on the map, like, you live an hour from each other. Shut up. Like,
can you imagine
Germany is
over in France? I was like,
if Grim drives like 12 hours in any direction on England, he's going to be in the ocean.
Yeah, he'll drown.
And in Texas, you're still in Texas.
Yeah.
You're further in Texas.
Yeah,
I think you're
5-6 hours.
I think you were onto something with the inner city issue.
Yeah, I do too.
Distractions, or there's more social pressure. There's definitely a streak of anti-intellectualism in British inner city schools and the youth and all that.
The youth
and all that.
Those youths. God damn them.
Grab a point. Scran.
Oh, you know.
Why are they doing healthy things like we used to do as kids? Hanging out behind the bike sheds, smoking and drinking cheap cider.
Well, but at the same time, has that ever changed? Were like inner city kids in the 1930s avid readers, or were they just all a bunch of like little thieves doing odd jobs for Al Capone?
At least they still read the fucking newspaper.
Come on, come on.
Oh shit! Let's and on our next Week in Geek, we interview Fagin from Charles Dickens. So, what would you say about child labor laws? Well, let's say children is there to be exploited. I'd say.
Don't teach them to read, or they might read about the child labor laws.
Yep.
I like this image in my head that like Victor just think they're all the kids in the 1930s were the little rascals.
Yeah, of course. They were the little rascals, and then they grew up and they were big rascals.
My newspaper route. Oh,
I don't know. It's like what Lovecraft was like from the 20s and 30s, and his ass was like fucking like reading and creating poetry and shit.
But he was a creepy weirdo who never left his house.
Yeah, he was a weird rural shut-in from New England. That he wasn't like some New York street rat.
Okay, well, Robert E. Howard was like writing all kinds of shit when he was like,
he was from Texas. He was a Texan.
Yeah.
Well, in Cross Plains, Texas, and
he was in the Dust Bowl.
And he never really left the area, and his writing is amazing. A lot of this, in my opinion, goes to public education, at least here in the States.
The lack thereof.
And well,
yeah.
And I have a letter. My grandfather fought in World War II, and he wrote a letter back home to his parents. And even though we're in the Midwest, my grandfather was a farmer. I never knew until I read this letter just how educated this man was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he had time to read half the year.
Right. He read. His use of language and construction of a paragraph and point, just the grammatical structure alone, but just his use of language, his vocabulary.
This
is absolutely, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I still write in cursive, but it was, at a much higher level. And he was just a high school graduate. He never went to college.
Well, I think it's actually due to the fact that self-education has been kind of made verboten. Because if you don't go to college, well, how can you prove you're smart? Self-learning has been massacred.
Okay, Lord of the Rings was not written in 1937, bro. It was written in 1954.
I think he's probably thinking of The Hobbit.
Okay, well, even The Hobbit wasn't written. Well, The Hobbit was written in 1937.
Actually,
yeah. So okay, so that's probably what he's referring to. But
yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. So, well, let me do some digging real quick.
I'm still wrestling with imagining Lovecraft as a paper seller.
The statement's still wrong because Lovecraft was at the height of his publishing career in pulp magazines in the 20s.
Yeah, he was. What Call of Cthulhu was written in 1928. So yeah.
Back when they
So
only played first edition.
It would
they
be
didn't
more
even have a
accurate.
first edition.
It would be more accurate to say that Tolkien grew up on Lovecraft, although I don't know that there's any indication that Tolkien ever read Pulp Fiction to any extent.
Probably
I
not.
do know he's read Howard, but I don't know about Tolkien. I don't know about
Ron
Lovecraft.
Howard. But
Yeah.
Shut up.
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. No.
Howard
Robert E.
Dutch?
Howard. Robert E. Howard.
So what I've noticed is because my private schools and all that, and talking with kids in general, because game store or kids there, and I always kind of chat with them to see, what the hubbub is about, all these dagger and kids, and it seems more and more that self-education is being demonized for some kind of reason. I couldn't tell you why, but it's like this weird stuff. If you don't go to college, you're just a big old dummy head. So the guys go to college and learn nothing, and then go to Starbucks for a job.
Well, I think it's ultimately more. It's more about the short-term attention grab of trying to get. I hate to say it, but like trying to get the likes on TikTok and social media, trying to be an influencer is where all the emphasis goes.
Shinatsky, I don't know that I would say Howard is the grandfather of fantasy because Lord Dunsany predates Howard by quite a ways.
He's
The
the uncle of
1914.
fantasy.
And,
Yeah,
I mean, you could even go back to Spencer if you really wanted to. Fairy Queen.
Yeah. So yeah.
Or what was that story about the guy who gets trapped in the Feylands? True Thomas, wasn't it? Like that's also like an old like 1800s, 1700s fantasy story, being locked away with the fairies underground and shit. Like there's been fantasy stories for as long as there's been people talking about it. Really.
Oh, okay, so El, this is an interesting question. So this is the high Gygaxian people. I'm not one of those, by the way. People talk about lost favor because people don't have time to learn words to read since they sit on YouTubes all day watching and making videos.
Well, I am a high Gygaxian guy, and I think there's some merit. I think there's some merit to that statement, possibly.
I mean, not everything that's posted on YouTube or TikTok is, drooling monkey feast.
Yeah. Some of it's really informative.
Some of it's informative and intelligent. I don't know that it's public schools because, like, we're publicly educated. And I remember back when I was a kid, we got a bunch of letters from kids in the States who were supposed to be our pen pals, and a good 2/3 of the letters were illegible. Basically, you couldn't make out what they were saying.
See, I remember when
was awful.
Well, see, I remember when like. You go first. Fine. No, you win.
I'm sorry.
I was actually already talking, and you both talk over me. But
sorry.
Nice.
Let's just pull them all out, guys. Come on.
No, I'm just saying.
But
Okay, Victor, dying breed than me. How's that sound? Victor, you go first.
Victor.
No, I wanted to say.
Make my show.
Shut up, T-shirt. No.
Talking over. Fat Geralt yourself. Victor, go.
I want to talk about reading some more, and the difference between the US and like at least the Netherlands that I've noticed is that reading in school in the US, at least from what I've gleaned from like movies and what people told me, it's like reading like boring, dry shit like Shakespeare and like all these like stuff that actively will turn. Yeah, like stuff that actively will turn kids off of reading. Over here, when I was in school, we had like a whole corner of like children's books, like stuff that was actually interesting to us. We weren't made to read Shakespeare. We actually got to read cool adventures and stuff. Like we actually got to like have fun with reading. And that's,
okay, well, pretty soon, dude, we're that's all we're gonna have on the kids' shelves to read is Shakespeare and shit because they are pulling so many books out of the libraries because they are contentious in some way or offensive in some way or hurtful in some way. That our kids are actually they have less to read now, so I don't know what's going to happen. I mean it's kind of scary, but yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, we could read books for fucking pizzas. Like you could read a book and get like a coupon to Pizza Hut for a free pan pizza.
You still do that. You could still do that. It's called the Million-Word Reader. Yeah, you can still do that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's still going on.
Remember, I would read so many freaking books. I would give out these little vouchers to like the the shelters and like homeless folk. Here's a pizza. Because I read so many books, I just collect these big stack of vouchers. Like, hey, you want a pan pizza? Here you go. Flick, I fucking flick it at them. Now it's like, I do hope they keep doing that because most kids need motivation to read because reading is not always super cool.
Well, I mean, we like anything else, man. It's like some kids are going to read more than others. Some kids are going to grow. I mean, even when I was growing up, okay, I was the weird one in my class because I was the one who wanted to read all the time, and all the other kids couldn't read at my level. And I'm not, trying to, I'm serious. I'm not trying to, talk shit. It's true.
No, dude, I'm there with you.
Yeah. I was one of those kids who, remember, you guys probably don't remember this. Well, Grim might, Dying Breed will remember this, but back in school, we used to have to take, like these tests and shit like CTBS and tabs and all this shit. And Ryan knows what I'm talking about. Okay. And they would always have two sections of math. They would have computational math, which was all just straight numbers. And then they would have the reading problem math, which is like, they would set out Pedro has 5 dogs and wants to breed 16 of them. What does he do? And, statewide and shit, the kids would always blow the reading one, but they would do well on the computational one. Well, I was the weird kid who I couldn't do the computational shit because I couldn't keep it straight in my head. Math always fucked with me. Numbers hard. But you got me on those reading problems, and since I could read, I could figure that shit out, and I could ace those things. And every fucking year, I would have a counselor pull me aside in class and say, "We're just trying to figure out how it is that you are doing so well on these reading things when everybody else is failing those, and yet you're doing poorly on the computational when everyone else is doing good on those." And I'd be like, I'm a fucking kid. I don't know.
I like cartoons.
You're the teacher. You tell me.
Yeah. Ain't this your job to figure out? Yeah.
I just want to go watch Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. I'm the guy you hated T-shirt because I could fucking do both of them.
Oh, there you go. See, there you go. You're an awesome dude.
Try hard.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I'm the most unathletic. Exactly. But I'm the most unathletic person you'll ever meet. I mean, I didn't even really understand the rules of American football until I was like almost 30 years old.
Shit, I was in football and I don't remember the fucking rules. All I remember is they said, "Go stand over here, stop this guy from going there." Okay.
But I would read voraciously. I would devour to the point that my family didn't like it.
Did you say voraciously?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because my head said he had said versus or something else. Like I read racistly. Like
it's a big word with lots of syllables. I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I only read white books.
You have to excuse Guard Bro. He got shot in the head. So.
No, it's just the public education.
No, but I think that we are kind of outliers even as a group because I think it's a reasonable assumption that we all read more than our peers as we were going up. I remember I had long-standing arguments with librarians throughout school because I was reading stuff and no, right, you have to pick out from the 3rd grade thing. You can't pick that book. That book's for the 6th graders. And I was like, So I 3rd grade, distinctly remember, I got suspended because she wouldn't let me take out the book. So what did I do? I went and took it, snuck it into my backpack, got away with stealing it, by the way. But at the end of the day, I had to share my little heist. And I went up to the library, which had a plate glass window, and held the book up and banged on the window, and then laughed at her and ran out of the building. And that's
that librarian would be so mad if she could read.
Yeah.
But we're coming at this from a perspective of readers. We are people that devour content. Even, with the hobby. Why are we able to absorb so many different books and systems and settings and because that's just how we're built.
Yeah.
We are outliers compared to the rest of the rest of the world. You give them a book even though there's pretty pictures with half-naked ladies in it or gentlemen. And it doesn't matter. I don't want to read this. There's math in here. There's numbers in here. There's stories in here. Well, I'm going to watch something.
So that's the thing, right? in my regular gaming group, we had a couple of kids who were not retarded, but slow learners, bad with reading, bad with writing, that sort of thing, right?
They were American,
but because they were into the game, right? They forced themselves to read, and they got better at it, and they understood more because they were interested. It was something that motivated them to do it. Yeah, it gave them the desire to understand and to read and to learn how to play by themselves without me having to handhold them through everything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there's something to be said for gamification, but that's never going to go down well with educators.
If you want kids to read, make it fun. And that was kind of the point I was trying to make before. Like, don't make them read dry as Shakespeare. Let them read Lord of the Rings. Let them read, like, Narnia, like something. Like, cool stuff.
Wait. Lord of the Rings is not fun to read, okay? As an adult... I tried to read that shit, and it was just like, oh my god!
I disagree. I taught that shit when I was like 9. I first picked it up when I was 9, and I loved those books. So I don't know.
Yeah, but you're autistic.
Well, that is true. Some people are just built different.
Got the funny brain.
But you know, you get my general point. Like, it doesn't have to be Lord of the Rings, but.
Yeah, I read Lord of the Rings a lot when I was a kid too. I read it multiple times, and it's good stuff. But looking back on it as an adult, it was like, this is, if I want to know what a hobbit ate every damned day at all 3 meals, this is perfect. But I also kind of disagree with your statement about Shakespeare. Just to kind of touch on that for a moment, Dungeons and Dragons is actually kind of what got me into Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare and I love to read it. I think there's a lot of value in it. And I think that the main thing to understand when you're reading Shakespeare is you're basically reading a screenplay. This is not a book. It was meant to be performed.
Not basically, you are.
Well, yeah, but did you come to that conclusion when you were 8? That is my question.
Well, I don't remember.
Yeah. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a difference between being 25 and reading Shakespeare and being 8 and being made to read Shakespeare or Sense and Sensibility or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And I think your point is, I think your ultimate point's fine.
There's a maturity level.
Right. Yeah. Let the kids read. As long as they're reading.
Yeah.
Does it really matter?
I think part of the problem is detaching them from their fucking phones to engage their brain to read.
Yeah.
The thing is, they're not using their phones to read. We have access to every fucking book ever made on our phones, from Wikipedia to everything that's available. You can read about Roman architecture and Roman aqueducts and how the Gallic formations of armies went into battle. Instead, they're watching some fucking goober in Costco dance to a stupid rap song. It's like,
because nobody wants to read that shit unless they have to. Or unless they're really avidly interested in it.
There's all this access to or wealth of reading you can do, but they rather watch stupid inane bullshit.
Well, because it's entertaining.
To that is, you got to make them dungeon masters so that they'll suddenly have a need to look up the answers to these things. We're all the archers of the aqueducts.
Yeah, but all of this really goes.
It's the aerial velocity of a cow.
All of this really goes back to what Ryan was saying. In that we're kind of the statistical anomaly here.
Built different.
Yeah. Well,
I just wanted to know how to stab goblins, and now I know how to pronounce Guizarm. What the hell is going on?
To be fair, I mispronounced kobolds forever. They were kobolds, and my gaming group to this day will not let me live it down because there are folks that I've gamed with for like 25 years.
Can we discuss the evolution of kobolds from like gremlin to like this thick, horny fucking...
No.
What happened? What happened to kobolds?
It's like the Klingons. We don't speak of it.
Yeah, it's like the Klingons. We don't speak of it.
Better.
Ryan, you do not want to know how long it was before I finally started pronouncing Brazier correctly.
Brazier.
You got to tiptoe around that one. Really?
Brazier.
That is a big problem with me having learned a lot of my English from writing. It's that I know perfectly how to write it and I like understand the context and something, but I've never heard it spoken. So I'll just like say something and like somebody's like, "Oh, you mean this?" I'm like, yeah, I guess I do."
Well, that's just all those braziers that are on fire. There was an old "Are you being served" joke about that. If ever.
It's funny.
They're both cup-shaped cup-shaped items that hold hotness. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Guard Bro was talking about detached from his phone. There he is. But anyway,
and he's checking out his car's extended warranty.
He is the youngest one here, right?
I think so. Is he younger than Ironcaster? I don't know. What to ask?
I'll probably wind up being younger.
Oh well.
I'm the youngest mentally. I'm only 12 mentally.
Nah, Victor, you're not. I thought it was kind of funny because somebody the other day was mentioning, like, I want to go back to wearing swords. And I'm kind of like, as somebody who has actually worn swords for more than 1 or 2 days at a time, I can tell you now, no, you don't. Because that shit's uncomfortable. And what I'm getting at is it's kind of like that's something else too that we're losing is we're kind of losing. We've lost our perspective on a lot of this old stuff. People think on traditions because people don't practice them anymore. It's like I'm probably one of the few people in my entire town that actually knows how to wear a katana properly and how to use it properly, clean it properly, maintain it properly, and all the stuff that you're supposed to do with it. Yeah, well, I am a weeb, but I don't care. I'm an otaku, God damn it! Stop calling me a weeb.
Well, but anyway, he studied the blade.
Yes. While you were reading your Lord of the Rings, I was busy learning how to kill people. So, but
I mean, well, never mind.
But yeah, it's like traditional things have gone away and are going away. And I'm not going to sit there and lie to people and they'll say, oh, yeah, I'm an expert with this thing. I'm not. I'm very, very, very far. There is so much more I have to learn before I would even dare to call myself anywhere near being an expert with a katana. But compared to the average douchebag who has watched a ninja movie or some shit.
Folded over 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
Weeb.
Yeah.
That always annoys me of people that are like, oh, if I could have one wish, I would wish like all firearms out of the world. It's like, well, you'd better start taking HEMA lessons then, because we would just go back to killing each other with swords and axes. And it would be some dude like the Mountain. He would just become like the king of America because he can just kill everyone with like an axe and nobody can stand up to him.
Victor's gonna trigger me and fucking going and launching into my like if you're anti like I have this argument that makes people angry is if you're anti-gun, you're anti-feminist and you hate women. That's my best argument I ever pull out.
I guess I'm anti-gun then. No.
I think the King of America would be some fat guy in plate mail on a mobility
Comancho.
Yeah.
Comancho.
It would be a guy from Florida.
Yeah, that's true. Those guys are built different.
We're too scared of them because you got 2 pet alligators and a lot of meth. We're not fucking with them, all right? Let them run the country.
This dude uses a pair of alligators like a fucking pair of nunchucks, man. I've never seen anything like it. Gator chucks.
My
Never
God,
seen
Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
I was with you on the.
Sit there and threaten me for my fried chicken.
Yeah, I was with you on the fat guy in plate mail until you mentioned Florida and alligators. Now I'm out.
I don't know. Listen, we the USA would break down into city states like the fucking old Greeks. We are the Empire of Texas.
Let it happen.
Second time tonight. Just wait 5 years.
There's actually a book series about that kind of like that similar premise. Is like somehow like firearm technology and technology in general stops working, and everyone has to go back to like swords and bows and stuff.
That's a book series, isn't it?
That's my next no joke. That's the campaign that I am planning for my table.
Oh my god!
That's like a whole book series, and that's like
spoiler alert! Wow.
There's this whole thing going on, right? EMP wipes everything out. All existing tech is not usable, and then there's this cataclysmic world smash so that you can actually have the fantasy races running around, but it's effectively high fantasy in a post-apocalyptic, like ruined world. So, hey, if any of you are listening, you don't know that yet.
What rule set are you using for that, Ryan?
I haven't decided yet. I'm probably going to use 13th Age.
Okay. It is a good system.
I've got a rules that you can use.
No, not Dune.
Floridian, +2 Constitution, -2 Wisdom.
Yes, easily.
I was curious if you were going to maybe go back and do some Gamma World or something and throw in the possibility of those technologies being available in the future, or like.
I really wanted to keep it to like a trim core
Right.
of just pure fantasy role playing, but with that setting. So I'm not opposed to throwing something out there. I do want it to be a longer term campaign because it's my core group and they're transitioning from one campaign to the next. But I'm open for convincing any way around. But I was thinking 13th Age right now.
I mean, I trust your instincts. I think you're going to be fine with whatever you choose to do. But man, I love that idea. There's so much potential there for so many great things. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It's called the Amberverse series. That's the book series. Amberverse.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Who's the author?
S.M. Sterling.
Oh, S.M. Sterling. Yeah. If he's the same one I'm thinking about, is he that? I want to say Swedish guy or something. Or
I know the name.
He's Canadian.
No,
that's close enough. Scandinavians.
Yeah. It's not USA, so fuck them. I don't know.
It's not USA, so fuck them. I love that. It's funny.
Yeah.
USA, US got arteries.
Jesus. And speaking of USA censorship and everything else, I guess we have to talk about Drive-Thru RPG and their latest shit with the Red Room.
I have been waiting for this.
We did a video with me and James about it.
Yeah. Now, just a real quick warning for the people who are viewing this and on replay and everything else. We do have panelists here who do have active works on Drive-Thru RPG. So if there is a certain reluctance on the part of some of our panelists to talk about this, please understand that it's because their livelihood, their income relies on the stuff that they sell through Drive-Thru RPG to some extent. And then there's Garbro, who doesn't give a shit.
I will burn his entire fucking house down, I swear to God.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
He's a small spider.
Yeah. But yeah. But yeah, so Miguel Ribeiro put out a new book called Men on Drive-Thru RPG. And okay, I haven't actually bought the book yet because I don't have the money. Sorry, I just don't. But my understanding is some of the rules have really interesting things in it. Like the more levels you get, the bigger your penis grows.
So
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
No. I have Miguel and Sylvia, shameless self-promotion, plug on Nerdcognito dropping this Wednesday. So
cool.
You are absolutely correct.
Okay.
So me and James were sent a PDF by him to do our video, and it's honestly the book is entirely satire.
Yeah.
And basically, your powers are called boners. And it's like there's like a genocide boner, a healing boner, there's like a rage boner, and it's honestly completely hilarious. And I there's something. Can I say this on your podcast? Because like certain people are inventory items.
Yes, I understand. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. No, you can't say that. So.
Yeah, and me and James were fucking dying as we're reading this damn book, and
taking it back to 1830.
But Guardbro, there is no possible way that anyone can interpret that as anything but tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
it's completely it's
a joke,
tongue in cheek humor. Like for God's sakes, there's like a little review page, and like there are reviews by the Emperor, Barack Obama, and a bear.
Yeah,
like it's so tongue in cheek. And I guess the thing is we're expecting the left to have a sense of humor, and they don't. Like it's a prerequisite to this book is being able to laugh at anything really, yourself. Right. Like the book is basically making fun of toxic masculinity, and it takes a piss out of it at every single fucking page.
Right.
People just can't understand. Like if I took this book to a comedy club and just read it, I would kill.
Yeah, you would. But here's the thing: it was not necessarily pulled because of its content. It was ostensibly pulled because not only was this content reported, which meant that somebody had to actually have the adult search enabled on Drive-Thru RPG in order to find it in the first place, because it was adult listed.
I didn't track
they would they would also have to buy a copy in order to leave a review or to leave a complaint, ostensibly, to Drive-Thru RPG. And then on top of this, not only is it a complete work of satire, but it's like anything else. It's like if you don't want to engage with it, don't engage with it. I mean, don't buy it. Don't get involved with it. It shouldn't be Drive-Thru RPG's place to police what you read. This is the same problem that we have with Wizards of the Coast changing the OGL and putting their little morality clauses in it.
And I think there's a fine point here that hasn't been mentioned yet that needs to be. Miguel and Sylvia did not write this.
Yeah, they only published it. It's mind you, the guy's name who wrote it is going to make people's hackles raise up. It's something Dick, like Major Dick or Big Dick or something like that.
It's an alias.
Yeah, it's a pseudonym.
It's a Dick Pound or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's an alias.
Dick Pound, a Dick alias, if you will.
Yeah,
but it's just like we said in our video, like there's nothing stopping this guy from selling it. Like, there's no reason why this shouldn't sell next to Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I mean, they're both horrible books in terms of comedy and what they represent.
Yes,
but I know that we, as a peoples, as consumers, wouldn't give a singular flying rat's ass about what's being sold online. No matter how offensive it may be, it should have the right to be sold and not harass or being sold. Difference is they take it upon them take it upon themselves to try and kill things because they don't like it.
Right.
Well, and the thing is like they didn't just kill the book.
They killed the Red Room.
They killed the Red Room.
Yeah,
they were completely doing away with the publisher. They could easily have banned the title itself.
Okay, I can offer a few bits of insight here. I don't want to say too much because
we understand.
I've already shot my bolt, and someone from Drive-Thru or One Bookshelf wants to talk to me privately about the issues. So I don't want to jinx that or screw
then
it
say
up.
nothing.
Right.
I mean,
well, I can say some general things, right? They're claiming that you cannot report a book unless you've purchased it. I don't know that is especially likely here because, as you've said, there's all those steps that you have to go through. But there are people who are so dedicated to harassing certain creators that they will spend money in order to do it, right? Just to fuck with you. That will happen. So it's not completely beyond the bounds of possibility. But what Drive-Thru are saying is that they didn't ban them for having the product up. They banned them for hostile marketing and aggressive attitudes towards their
aggressive attitudes,
their social media reps or something. As far as Miguel and Sylvia are concerned, they've never really interacted with any of Drive-Thru's social media people. So I don't know if it's people who just have it hidden away on their profile on Twitter or something, who they've argued with, or what. But they have had stuff repeatedly reported and taken down over and over and over and over again. And this is what I was always worried about with Drive-Thru's policy about hostile marketing, is it really removes your ability as a publisher to kick up a stink when something of yours gets taken down. And it's not a small thing. You get a massive spike of sales early on, and if someone reports you straight away and your product gets taken down, it's not on the front page. It doesn't get put out to Twitter or wherever else to be sold. And even if you get your product back, it doesn't get put back at the front of the queue. It doesn't get exposed on the front page again to make up for all that money you've lost. You've still lost it. So
you've blown your launch load. And there's no way to recapture that.
Yeah,
and they've been harassed and reported again and again and again. You've got to be willing to let people be pissed off when that happens, I think.
Like it's this weird fallacy where we think we have to like, oh, you're angry. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Let me make you feel like, just let folks be angry and pissed off. Oh, you're angry. Tough shit, brother.
Well, and I mean, and it goes deeper than this too. It's like, let's say I'm wanting to write. Well, I am actually writing an RPG. I mean, it's slow. obviously I'm not making as much progress on it as I'd like, but it happens here and there.
I'll race you with auras.
No. It's not a race. But the deal is like, okay, I'm thinking about where I got to market it from. Well, obviously, I love the guys at Big Geek Emporium. Joe's a friend. Joe's been on my channel. Joe's a good guy. Would I sell this on Big Geek Emporium? Absolutely. No questions. But would I also sell it on Drive-Thru-RPG? I got to admit, they have a bigger presence. So I'm probably gonna put it on Drive-Thru-RPG too, just because it's just you kind of have to, because it's like, yeah, when it's the biggest game in town, you don't really have a choice. You're strapped for choices.
And if you watched Grimm's video from earlier, I mean, he's right. It's a de facto monopoly. I mean, maybe if you want to get pedantic about it, it's not technically a monopoly, but in essence, that's what it is.
There's no one in their right mind that would have a product, regardless of what they view. I've not been complimentary of drive-through in the past with situations like this that have happened, but if I have something to release, they're the gorilla in the room. You have to go through that channel, and I'm not going to cut out 90% or more of my potential income because I'm not going to release there. And so circling back to the Red Room, we have to realize what this impact is for them. That's 90% or more of their income also just yanked away because of a very gray policy to begin with that has steps outlined that Miguel and Sylvia are saying never took place. There's supposed to be a checks and balance system in there that, you get a warning, you get this, you get that. And the story that they tell is that it was just yanked out right from under them. So where's the transparency? Now, does Drive-Thru have to provide that? No. And is our little corner of the hobby going to kick up enough dirt like the entire hobby did with the OGL? Of course not. Unfortunately, I think for Miguel and Sylvia, they have to take it on the chin, and there's nothing they can say or do about it.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is like in the process of writing an RPG, am I now going to have to be sitting here and second guessing myself on every word or anything as to like, ooh, could somebody find this offensive? Or is somebody going to report me for this shit?
Yeah, to a certain degree, yes, you will.
Either that, or you have to be willing to, if it does get yoinked or they ask you to make edits, you have to be willing to compromise that integrity.
Mm-hmm.
For the sake of money.
That makes me sick to the pit of my stomach having to do that.
Yeah.
See, we're going to make you an evil capitalist yet, Grim.
I do miss the days when people just wanted to make money.
Okay, and I'm going to respond to this right here. Okay, first off, that's some bullshit right there. T-shirts doing the Hasbro. Forget ethics, go for the money. Okay, that's bullshit. Okay, first off, if the entirety of my income or a great portion of it comes from game sales revenue, such as, let's say, somebody much bigger than I, like Alexander McCrease, or not Kevin Crawford, but the other Crawford, my favorite Crawford. Okay,
Jeremy.
Those guys, Jeremy Crawford, not Jeremy. No, it is Kevin Crawford.
I think you're right,
Jeremy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Sorry, I get the two Crawfords confused. There's like the evil Crawford and the good Crawford, but
one has a mustache.
Yes. One of them has an onion head. The other one is off social media.
Onion head.
Yes.
I'm gonna
yes.
track him down in the middle of like Michigan one of these days.
But okay. But here's the thing.
Middle of nowhere where there's like nothing but hunting. So
yeah, it's very fine to sit here and talk about ethics if you're already receiving a source of income from something else, like maybe you have a job or something else. Yeah, you can afford to sit here and preach ethics.
Retirement.
Yeah, or disability, whatever. And I'm not picking on any disabled people for this, by the way.
That's me. I'm the guy.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's like, okay, if you're relying on this for your income, you have to go with who's big. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting in your car, sleeping in it, and shitting outdoors and hoping you have an internet connection, because you ain't going to be living.
You'll be living in a van down by the river. Yeah.
Yes, literally.
It's easy for it's easy for people to say who don't have any stake in the game, who aren't creators, who don't have products that they have worked on for 2 years and they're trying to sell. It's easy for them to say, like, just screw Drive-Thru-RPG, just don't do any business with them. Yeah, it's easy for you to say. Meanwhile, I worked for like years on my book. I have a €5,500 Kickstarter that I have to fulfill to Drive-Thru-RPG. I'm not gonna throw them under the bus just because like I love the Red Room, but at the end of the day, it's fucking their problem.
Okay. I'm sorry.
If the space was healthier and there were competitors, right, there would be room to do that. You could say, well, okay, I'll take the hit and I'll get better sales somewhere else. But there really isn't anywhere. All right. And Geek Emporium is trying, but
they're trying.
If you sell on multiple sites, Drive-Thru, you lose your exclusivity, right? So you take a hit of 5% of your sales on there. And if you're selling 10 times what you're selling everywhere else combined on Drive-Thru, that 5% can be more than you would make anywhere else. So people aren't talking enough about that. That's kind of anti-competitive, really, and they charge more than they really need to as well. Yeah, you're stuck. I don't think anyone would say that I haven't made sacrifices for my ethics in my professional career and everything. But I balk at this, and I hate the fact that I balk at this. But if I can't sell through Drive-Thru, my career is not viable anymore.
And I will point out real quickly too, Venger, Raji, Pundit. All these guys can talk all the big shit that they want to, but they're all selling on Drive-Thru-RPG too.
Yes.
Now, if you really wanted all these guys to make a difference, you wouldn't be pointing that shit at me, the guy who has a very minimum bare number of products on Drive-Thru-RPG, but is still making a little bit of money on it. You tell those guys, hey, pick your shit up and move it over to Big Geek Emporium. Because those are the guys who are going to make the difference. When you get the McCreases, the Crawfords, the Pundits, the Rajis, all these other really big dudes who are making a shitload more money than like the Grim Jims or the Victors, when those guys are getting up and leaving.
Well, and they're a lot more established. I mean, they've got history, They've got a library of stuff, and they've got fans. And that speaks a lot, but the ultimate issue, somebody I think Guardbro brought up the thirsty sword lesbians thing, is, I mean, we're looking at a real double standard here, because
absolutely
you've got publishers who have created content that is just as offensive,
just to a different party.
In some ways more, but they've got the established history behind them. Evil Hat has had a lot of very successful games. They have a lot of fans. They have some good games. I own some of their stuff, but Red Room, still kind of the new kids on the block.
They're not established yet.
Not really that established yet. I mean, they were making really good progress, and to ban the entire publisher,
it's a huge overreach.
And people can argue, okay, they were poking the bear, they've been edgy, they've been, pushing the envelope, they've kind of been asking for it, so to speak.
But that's how the little guy gets noticed, really.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
outrage.
It's, is that hostile marketing? I don't know. I mean, I've been following them for a long time on Facebook and Twitter. I never saw anything that I found to be particularly hostile.
Egregious.
To Drive-Thru itself, which seems to be kind of the basis for the claim of banning the publisher.
I think,
but I could be misinformed. I don't know.
And don't mistake what I'm saying too, by the way. Okay, Pundit is a friend. I love the guy, but if there's a guy that needs to move over to Big Geek Emporium, or at least post his stuff on both platforms at the same time, it's him. But he won't, because the exclusivity that Drive-Thru-RPG gives him a bigger cut because he's making more money on it. Same goes for Raji. Raji could move his stuff over to Big Geek Emporium. He'd lose the exclusivity for Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Crawford doesn't get on social media, so he probably doesn't even give a shit about any of this.
To be fair, Raji is like me, and if anyone was going to do it, it would be me or Raji, because we're just that self-destructive. But Jim, he has to send his stuff in, and it has to be cleared by a council of censors at drive-through before it goes live anyway, every time.
The Truth Star Council, how nice.
Yeah.
People are expecting us to stick our neck out, and meanwhile we're gonna get our heads chopped off, and nobody else is gonna be affected. Drive-through RPG is gonna be fine. Meanwhile, I would have lost like all my like my revenue, all the effort that I've put in these last few years to even get started. I'm still just a beginner. I'm like a complete newbie in this whole scene. I'm just only
I don't think anyone's asking you guys to stick your necks out.
I know I've seen people on like the Basic Expert Gilded server like call for like boycotts, and like if you don't, you just like like El said, you have like no ethics and shit. Like fuck that. That's all well and good for you to have ethics, but it's like the scene in the movie where like the villain is like talking to his henchman, and he's like, "Oh, anyone has a problem with what I'm doing?" And then one henchman sticks up his hand and gets shot in the face.
1920s voice tonight.
Hey, boys! Anyone have a problem what I'm doing? Nah. And then he's
we'll go down
one
to
guy
this
who
and get
raises
us
his hand
Sarsaparilla.
and he gets shot in the face, and then the villain's like, "Okay, anyone else?" Like, yeah, that's basically what they're expecting me to do, and I'm like, no, fuck that.
Someone's been watching Critical Role.
Listen here, see. I'm going to publish stuff on Drive-Through RPG, and I don't give a damn what you say, see?
The internet's going to be good anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I would love it if Big Geek Emporium was huge and had thousands of titles. I've bought plenty of stuff from there too. I wish I could buy more, but honestly, there's just not a lot there for me that I'm interested in. I mean, they got a bunch of 5e crap that I don't want. They do have some good stuff like Dungeons and Delvers, and they have some OGL stuff, and I do buy that. But it's like right now their selection's not that big. There's not that many publishers going there. There needs to be more. And I'm not just talking little guys, though. It's not necessarily the little guys who are going to pump up Big Geek Emporium's numbers. It's the Autark Publishing who's going to bring them. It's the Cine Nominees. It's the Lamentations of the Flame Princess. It's the Pundits. It's all these other big top 10 drive-through RPG guys. If all those guys pick their shit up and move over to Big Geek Emporium, that's going to pump Big Geek Emporium's numbers up. But they got to be willing to take that hit.
But it's a catch-22. It's 5%, man. And when and these guys aren't Hasbro. I mean, they're still small.
Yeah.
And 5% makes a huge difference. I mean, like Victor's in a very precarious situation. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that Victor can't say what he really thinks. And I feel for you, Victor. I really do, and I wish you best of luck on your endeavors. But I mean, you're in a situation where you've got an obligation to fulfill, and so you have to do what you have to do. And I totally get that, and I don't lose any respect for you based on that at all.
Well, it's also Big Geek Emporium. Some of their promotion methods made me cringe a little. I think they've taken a step back, but in the early days when they were first getting started, they would like tweet like it's like, oh, this is like basically they would use like little like buzzwords to like make it seem like this was like the right wing like free speech like platform and blah. And it's like, no, just stay neutral. Like it's supposed to be for everyone. If you want to become big, you have to be neutral, and you have to attract people that might not be on our side or whatever the fuck you want to call it either. And
I mean, BGE was trying to politicize that. Go ahead, Jim.
I've got to go. Is all. It's late for me, and I'm on new meds. So
okay. See you in the morning, bud.
Okay.
Will I see you in the morning?
Yeah, I'll see you in the morning, and then I'm on. Victor's going to be interviewing me on Legion of Myth.
RPG Digest.
All right.
Yeah. So.
All right, bud.
Toodles.
Okay. And you talk about the people who created TTRPG are the ones that can destroy it, create something else to replace it. Look at Orc and Black Flag. Yeah, look at Black Flag. It's a 5e clone. What of it? I mean, come on now. Go ahead, Ryan. I know you've been waiting for this one.
Well, I got a lot of naughty names called toward in my direction when they hopped on board before it was even the Orc, when they said, "Oh, no, we're going to go and we're going to publish something that falls outside of the OGL, and we're going to make it open, and we're going to do this new and revolutionary thing." And I said, and again, not knocking them as a company. Their products are top notch. But looking at the situation, it was so obvious that it was just a pandering for the headlines, right? They were in the right place at the right time when everybody was whipped into this anti-Wizards, anti-Hasbro frenzy, and they made this grand announcement about what they were going to do with Black Flag. And then little bits have been trickling out, and no, Ryan, no, Bert, no, Nerdcognito. You guys are just looking to kick a hornet's nest and stir up even more ill will, and lo and behold, what comes out but a 5e clone.
Yep.
Yeah. Cobalt looks like they're just trying to kind of do what Paizo did with essentially 3rd edition.
But without
With
even
Pathfinder?
as much of a pivot. Like 1st edition Pathfinder, let's get that straight. It is a 3.5 clone, but they put their own spin on it. This is almost copy paste. I mean, it really is. And
now, I should just point out, I haven't had a chance to actually go through the documentation of what was in it for myself, but from the little bits I've picked up, I've seen that it does look to be a bit of a. It does look to be quite a bit of a 5e clone.
Well, Victor, didn't you go through it last night on Max's channel, or?
No, we went to it on Monday with the Basic Expert on his channel.
Oh, okay.
And this is basically just a 5e clone. They changed some terms around. They changed some like racial abilities and stuff like that. And but otherwise, everything else is basically just 5e. It has the same, from the looks of it, it has the same kind of like balance issues, like too much magic, like all that stuff. So.
Yeah, it's bad, and you can call me names. I've certainly heard it before, but I am also one that does not hold back and say I told you so. It's a fucking headline grab, and I told you so. And hey, it is what it is. At least we saw it coming, and you can't say that you didn't unless you were just in such the frenzy over the OGL, which we all were, that you had blinders on to everything else. Paizo, it was not going to be the Great White Hope. Neither was Kobold Press.
No.
And we're still waiting for someone to come in with a game changer. Hopefully, it's an independent. Hopefully, it's someone that does take a chance on a BGE sort of thing. We don't know these sort of things, but we know that this isn't the solution to the problem. And if this is an indicator of what we're going to see with the Orc, with its pending morality clauses, because their audience certainly has no problem with it, then we still need to look elsewhere. And I wish Jim didn't hop off, because I know his SRD is probably the place to look.
I think so too.
That's actually what we went over on Max's channel yesterday, what you got confused with. We went over the Free League SRD, and they actually removed and their OGL, and they actually removed their morality clause.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
And that's surprising from Free League. It really is.
I don't see why people even need morality clauses in the first place.
We don't.
No,
I mean, it feels like a trap that everyone keeps shoving their fucking foot in, and it's keeping.
It is. It's just like government oversight of stuff. Okay, we can tell you what you can and can't watch, what you can and can't see, what you can and can't do, what you can and can't eat, and all this other stuff. It's like
you're welcome, citizen.
Yes.
Thanks.
Well, it's for your own good that we do these things.
For the greater good.
It's woke creds.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. It's just, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's essentially, it's a form of control. It's like, well, we want to have the option of controlling your content if we don't like it or we don't want to take that route.
Why can't folks just want to make money? Just make money. Shut up, make money. It's not hard.
Because like we talked about earlier in the stream, it's not the 1920s Hollywood anymore. You don't have a fat guy with a cigar sitting around saying, well, let's see here, boys. Let's see how much money we can make and we'll sell them plastic crap. That doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, but why not? That's the question. Why is somebody gone the way that does go?
I don't know why, but I mean there is a sort of idea that somehow now a corporation has to have a conscience. That's
the term stakeholder capital.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is.
Now you want
But it's just so fake and transparent, and I don't know why people fall for it. Like supposedly like smart progressive people, they just fall for this horse shit. It's like if OCP was like oh yeah, no, we're progressive, we care about the environment, and meanwhile they're dumping like toxic waste like in the river behind you.
Look how much we care about you.
And again, Vic, it's because we're the outliers, right? Yeah. We do look at things through different lenses, for good or for bad. And I know that it's a boon for me and a flaw. But those different lenses are certainly not the mainstream, right?
Yeah.
And the mainstream, I use my mother, my dear mother, as an example, right? Intelligent person, PhD, careered in education of all things. Oh, Ryan, did you see the news? Did you hear? I'm like, Mom, you can't be. I had this conversation with her just this morning. I said, you can't be this stupid. Oh, you just like to make fun of me. They really don't see the world the same way that we do.
Yeah.
We lost dying breed.
Lie to us.
Oh.
The news was lie.
I chased him away. Is he one of your nerds that plays that game at my dining room table? Oh.
It's actually kind of funny because my mom is actually very red-pilled these days, and like she just like agrees with everything that I feed her. I just go into like this wild conspiracy theories, and it's like, yeah, you're right.
I come from a and my parents went exactly the opposite direction, and I can't fathom it. My father started and was in the oil and gas industry, and started an oil and gas company, was CEO of it, and sold it to one that is now multinationally listed. My mother was superintendent of schools. So they were very educated, very financially and classically conservative, and now they're just woke as a joke, man, and it drives me insane.
Yeah.
I bet. Well, I mean, okay, we've already gone past time, but I don't want to end just yet because I do have some announcements and some things to show off and some, just try to keep things a little bit happy.
Hey, we're talking about toys on the front end. We're going to sandwich all the shit in the middle.
That's true. That's true.
Taking, like bets for the next WOTC fuck up.
What's this to speak of? I do not know.
I think 2 weeks.
Card bro.
No, 2 days. 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually we were pretty positive actually starting out because all the G.I. Joe stuff was really cool. And I have some more good stuff. First off, on Tabletopless on Wednesday, I know Grim will be, at my request, running the Stale Water game. And if Guard Bros, of course, he's on the goddamn phone when I'm announcing this. Son of a bitch. Goddamn, get off the phone. Get off the phone. Get off the phone. Get off the phone. Get off it. I'm literally having a fucking...
I can hear you the entire time. Like, shit,
You're getting free plugs.
Yeah, I just gave you a free plug, man. Yeah,
you
the Stale Water thing
dick.
that you...
She does. So she gets four.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. All right. I might give you a reach around, but that's as far as I'll go. I don't love you that much. Yeah, a little slap and tickle.
Anyway, go ahead.
But yes, Grim will be running Stale Water, which was, I believe it was written by Guard Bro, or at least partially authored by.
I helped write, I don't want to say most of it, but I helped write a lot of it.
Okay. So there you go.
Explains.
Yes. So you will have to watch that, okay? I'm going to personally make sure / invite you to that stream.
Will you? Because I know James is keen on it, but he lives in Northern Irish time, so he might be able to. But I'll be there.
Yeah, it'll be late.
And it's on Tabletopless, he said?
Just tell him to set his alarm car bomb.
Yeah. I can't believe you said that. I'm canceled now.
What the hell? Irish, nobody cares.
Once again, I didn't do it.
Yeah, he lives on IRA time.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Well, I do hear something ticking.
I just want to test if you guys can hear me all right.
Yeah, we hear you, yeah.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Who remembers this? Did anybody actually get to see this?
No.
Okay. This is a blast from the 80s. This is Wizards and Warriors.
I have this on my Plex server. Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And it's so cheesy. It smells like cheddar. I'm not gonna lie. It does. It's so cheesy. It smells like cheddar. Because it's very tongue in cheek. It's very off the cuff kind of funny. Kind of not quite Mel Brooks funny, but it's got its moments.
How are you storing your DVDs?
What?
Oh, you said it smells like cheddar. How are you storing that?
But yeah, I got this. It's fun. I've only gotten through like a few episodes of it so far because I just got it today. But it's fun.
Dude, it is beyond fun. It is freaking awesome.
It's fun in that cheesy 80s way.
Exactly. Yeah.
I got this classic because
There
it's
you
Charles
go.
Bronson. Because anytime there's a Charles Bronson movie, I'm going to buy it because Charles Bronson is the man.
Yeah.
But I want to be Charles Bronson when I grow up. So far, it's not working. But I try.
You have the mustache yet?
No, I keep shaving it off.
Polish that
Wow,
mustache.
there you
Oh,
go.
Commando. Yeah, there we go.
This is the director's cut version too. It's got some extra footage in it. But yeah,
Come on, put the knife in me, Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when I told you I would kill you last, Sully? Yeah, Matrix, you did. I lied.
I lied. Yep.
Was a wave, yeah.
Most of y'all probably haven't heard this, but this is
he's dead.
This is another. This is a Canon Films one right here.
River of Death.
River of Death, yes, by Alistair MacLean. And this is and I can't read it because this is the German copy. I mean, it has English subtitles and English language track because it was originally shot in English. But it's actually a good, if not cheesy, Canon film. I probably paid too much for it, but it's a Canon film, so yeah, you can't go wrong. It's
that
Canon.
Book cheesy? No, it would never happen.
Bah.
Look to it.
And because everybody has been asking about it, because I've been showing it off on Twitter, yeah, this is Blood Rain, Curse of the Yoma, which is actually Curse of the Undead Yoma when it was on VHS. But if you haven't seen this, you should give it a chance, and I'll show off the trailer for it so you can see what you were missing. It's like I'll just be cool and comment on it if you want. We won't get claimed on this one.
Yeah, looks cool. Very ninja cool.
Oh yeah, but I like it because it's got ninjas, but it's also dark. It's got that Japanese mythological horror vibe to it.
Yeah.
Did that man explode?
Yes, he did. He did explode.
Oh, ninjas explode when they die. You didn't know that?
Well, they do in this film.
News to me.
But yeah, it's actually based on a manga made by Kei Kusunoki. But for some reason, they only adapted the first and last stories into the films, which are 50 minutes apiece, and they're both on this disc.
Oh, it's a spider yokai.
Just like you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's really good, man. I think it's very underrated.
I just
and
want
it's
more.
very horrifying.
I just want more TTRPGs that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want more TTRPGs that kind of have like this kind of like style, like worlds, whatever.
Oh, Scarlet Heroes, but even it doesn't go this far.
No. I want the full on like 80s, 90s anime ninja shit.
Yeah.
No, and even for its time, it's pretty. It's a step beyond what other stuff was in that era. Because this is my era.
Mm-hmm. Because this is from 1986 originally, I believe.
So even pre-RD era.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I love you all, but sometimes you just lose me.
What?
Well, yeah, but you're 75. Of course you don't get this. You probably hate the Japanese because you fought them in fucking Peleliu or whatever that island is.
Old shit.
You fought them on the island.
Iwo Jima, I took out a bunch of them.
I had to kill monkeys with my bare hands and eat them for 3 days in the jungle.
I killed him and took my shins. You don't understand.
You ever been in the Chosin Reservoir? It was so cold the dead men were stacked up on the ice 15 feet high in all directions.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
You ever seen a grown man naked and covered in oil?
Even now, I can't go into my local Walmarts because I start getting Nam flashbacks.
The sale on chocolate.
I remember the chocolate we had in our MREs back in Desert Storm. That and them little packets of Tabasco sauce.
I miss those bottles. They quit doing them.
Yeah, they quit doing those. I used to collect those. But yeah, if you can still find this one, this is the 2011 re-release on DVD. They haven't got a Blu-ray as far as I know. But you can probably find this on eBay, not for very much money. You'd be surprised. I got this one off of Amazon, and I think it was like, I want to say $15. If you can find it on there again, get it because it's worth it. Let's see, what else did I get? Oh, I'm rewatching this because, oh my God, I just got this and I forgot how good it was. I started this on VHS back when they were coming out from Japan, and I never got to finish it. Now I'm actually getting back into it and watching it again. And this is the complete one, so it's got all the OVAs, it's got the movies, it's got the compilations, it's got everything except the Mellow Soldier thing that was never released for some reason. But this is a good one.
Mellow Soldier thing.
Yeah. Guard Bro, you'd probably love the shit out of this. It's good.
Does it have Centaur girls?
Does it have Centaur girls? No, it does not.
Or big-chested Oni girls? No?
Yeah.
Yes, no?
He's out then.
Yeah, he's got Shinatsky, Mellow Link. That's what it was, Mellow Link. But and then this is Samurai 7. This was officially authorized by Akira Kurosawa's estate. It is a sci-fi retelling of the Seven Samurai. This is a good one.
Sci-fi.
Yep. I never got to finish this one either. This was during that same period where the VHS tapes were coming out slowly and you'd have to wait month to month to catch up on it. So I never got to finish it either. So I'm glad I actually have an opportunity. And let's see. From the awesome Autark Publishing, from Alexander McCrease, we have the Heroic Fantasy Handbook. This one is really cool because not only does it have some nice little OGL classes in it, it also has a really good method for making classes. It's got some alternate spell singer rules, which I really like because spell points are better than spell slots. That Vancian magic crap, I never liked it, but the spell singer stuff makes sense. Got some new spells in it.
Was this the book that has like the racial specific classes?
It has a few. Like Elven Spell Singer is in this one. It has like a Halfling Bounder and Halfling something else. But Axe also had some.
I want to pick it up. Their they put out a just straight dwarf source book that's full of like dwarven exclusive classes like that.
Yeah, that's by this Axe.
Yeah,
Axe. The Axe.
Yeah, Autark Publishers put out some good stuff. Axe is one of my favorite systems.
I like it.
I actually bought Axe recently.
Oh yeah, what do you think of it?
I haven't really read through it too much yet, but it does look cool. I bought the core book, I bought the player's handbook, and I bought the basically the mass battle one. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, t-shirt. I love you, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also a great game.
I bought this so I could play Jim's game last week. Unfortunately, that was also the same week that my voice decided to take an absolute shit and die. So unfortunately, I told Jim earlier that day, I said, man, my voice is just shot. I can't. And even now, you can still hear it sounds kind of eh. But
but you're way better, man.
Yes.
That's pretty funny.
But this showed up like a week late. I hope he's going to do another one of these, but I don't think he will. So I probably just missed out on that one. But this is worth getting.
That is one of the most underrated games ever.
Yeah.
I love Barbarians of Lemuria. I actually love the background system. I have actually stolen that for my game that I'm writing. So yeah.
The background system, the character creation system works really, really well for this.
Yeah.
I honestly recommend this. This is good stuff. Even if you don't use the system.
Yeah. It's just such a cool way to do skills.
I am in love with the magic system in that book.
I haven't used the magic system. But,
if you want freeform magic and you don't like Vancian magic, it's probably one of the best.
Well, I'm gonna try to get my table to play this because it really looked like fun. And you can watch the live play of this on Grimm's channel, Grimm Streams. I highly recommend it if you want to take a look at it. He got to play with OGGM and a bunch of other guys. So, yeah.
So T-shirt, you don't like Vancian magic, you don't like racist class. Why do you play OSR? You're just Sparkle Troll adjacent. No,
I guess I am Sparkle Troll adjacent.
Yeah.
And I have to give this one special mention because, okay, here's what happened. I ordered this along with a bunch of other books back in December 11th, right? It didn't show up with my books. So I told them, I said, hey guys, I didn't get this book. They said, okay, well, we'll get right on it. I said, yeah, it's cool. I understand because, you got the Christmas holidays and stuff, and I figure mistakes were made. It's okay. I'm fine with that. January rolls around. I make another order whenever they're making their, $5 set, and I included as a note. I said, hey guys, since I still had this one book outstanding, could you just tack it onto this order? Got no response. I got my other books. This didn't show up. So I sent another email and said, guys, I still haven't gotten my stuff. Got an email back at one point. Was this resolved yet? Did you get your book? No, I haven't gotten my book yet. Finally, we're into February. February 11th rolls up. We're 3 months. I haven't gotten this book. I finally, they sent me a survey like, hey, how did you enjoy your last order, whatever? And on the survey, I wrote back, I said, well, to be honest, I'm kind of pissed because it's been 3 months to the day. I still haven't gotten this book. And I'd like, I'd either like a refund or please just send me my book. So Stephen Chenault himself sent a reply and said, we are so sorry. We've been chasing our tail since all this stuff has been happening. We're trying to catch up. He says, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the mail for you right now. But you could still take the refund. It's on its way to you, whether you want the refund or not. And sure enough, it's like I looked up and there was a tracking number with this, and it got here today. I told him, I said, hey man, I'm happy to have the book. I don't want a refund. I still love your company, Stephen Chenault. I still do. I still love Troll Lord Games. I have no problem with you. And normally I get really good customer service from y'all. But, for some reason, I just got overlooked for 3 months. But here it is finally. And it's
T-shirt guy anyway.
Yeah. It's like they don't know who I am or anything. But
do you not know who I am?
Do you not know who I am? Did you not see my interview with Stephen Chenault?
They recently followed me on Twitter. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, but no, I still like Troll Lord Games. I'm not mad at them, despite the fact that it took 3 months for me to get this. I'm happy I finally got it, and it's good so far from the little bit I've got to see. I got it just before the show, so I didn't really get a chance to look through it very much.
Probably because you live in the middle of nowhere, Texas. They needed to send the Pony Express.
I guess so. But the thing is, here's the other part of it though. Is when I bought this, I did not get the accompanying PDF, so I didn't even have a way to look at the PDF of this. So I had no access to anything in this.
Fully shafted.
I was until it showed up. I had no way of knowing what was in it or anything. But
it's kind of funny.
I'm glad I finally got it. But it took Stephen Chenault actually getting on the horn and sending it himself, because it even the return address and everything said Stephen Chenault on it. So I know he personally put that in the mail and sent it to me. So that's what a good guy he is.
Covered in Cheeto
with
dust,
his own hands.
Just to brag a little, you just held up Amazing Adventures Ironcaster. Jason Vay, he actually got really excited over my 5e Modern book recently, which I thought was kind of cool. It's always nice when bigger writers give you stuff like accolades, and he's like, oh yeah, once it's done, I definitely want to buy it and use it with my stuff. So yeah. And
I want to give some special love out here to Victor, because
Oh God!
This is
yes.
this is Victor's
Yeah, I
latest
saw that.
offering. Yeah, you can get this for free on Big Geek Emporium right now,
Yeah.
and it's totally cool. I told him, I said, I wish that he could have been able to change out Spray and Pray for more DACA.
Yeah.
But I said, yeah. But I said, Games Workshop will go after you if you do that.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you mean, Ducker?
We need more DACA.
You
But
can't
yeah.
use that word. That's our word.
Yeah, did you know we tried to copyright Space Marine? Because it's our word. No one else has ever had a Space Marine.
Look at me. I'm the case captain now.
Yep.
I'm actually
Yeah.
thinking of doing a official kind of like a compatible with old school essentials like modern book at some point. Kind of use like a stripped down versions of like the rules that I'm writing for Advanced Modernity, but make them like fully OSE compatible. I think that might be fun.
I love the art in this, Victor.
Yeah, thanks.
The One Piece.
Yeah, the guy in the tracksuit. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
like, I mean, it's
I
probably
don't know.
offensive.
Seems kind of racist.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably offensive to like Italians.
Sounds like
No.
problematic.
Well, it's a Russian orc, and nobody cares about being offensive to Russia these days.
I was about to say, yeah, it's very Slav
Yeah.
Okay.
or Gopnik.
Yeah.
It's
I was
very
thinking
Gopnik.
old
Yeah, I
school
can-
Jersey
Yeah.
Italian, but okay.
Like the one piece of
No,
complaint
those-
I have
those
is
are
that you
halfway.
have him squatting.
Yeah.
You know, the single gold chain around the neck, the whole bit. Yeah.
Nah, you can see him hanging out on the 20-story concrete apartment mega complex.
Communist
Just-
block apartment. Yeah.
You
Yes.
will not go in here. No, you do not need to go in.
Dude,
And
I work downtown. I know 12 guys like this.
Yeah. But this guy has better teeth. No, but in my setting, the Italians, like the old school like mafioso Italians, are actually the gnomes.
Oh,
They do the whole like La Familia thing.
Oh,
So, yeah.
no. Oh, okay. You just lost your Italian market.
And then
Yeah,
Victor
well,
got
no.
stabbed.
but anyway, yeah, go pick this up on Big Geek Emporium, guys. Go do it right now because it's free. And I hope that Victor will do a whole series of these because it would be fun.
Yeah.
It'd
Yeah,
be
I
fun to do a
plan
whole
to.
book of them.
I plan to, yeah.
I don't know what you do for the modern elf. What are they going to be doing? Like having meditation crystals and drinking kombucha and shit.
They'll probably be like kind of like a modern take on Rangers, but with like sniper rifles and stuff.
That'd be cool.
Okay. Let me flow something by you here. Seat Elf.
What?
I got you, Ironcaster. Yeah.
I don't get it. The one's good went over my head.
Seattle.
Oh,
And,
okay, yeah, okay.
Seattle.
This
Yeah,
is
it's side cut.
this is from Patty's. By the way,
yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I was
he's-
going to throw back to Victor real quick.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
think maybe you should go Kardashian. Just saying.
Kardashian.
but this is a fanzine written by Patty's right here, and it's for Chalt, and it's using his Crimson Dragon Slayer engine, and it's a Big Geek Emporium exclusive from Patty's Parlor Games.
$3.
Yep, he sent this to me, and yeah, it's licensed, but yeah, it's an adventure. I don't want to linger on anything since it is an adventure. I don't want to give away too much. Yeah,
What? That sounds
But,
weird.
licensed.
Someone's licensed.
They're licensed, yes. But I like this San Francisco poop
San
shoot.
Francisco.
Yes. Posture Palace.
Don't forget the
Pride
service
Fair.
entrance.
Sewer Grate. Yeah. Armanence shop. Sanger's Institute of Eugenetics. Oh no.
The open
Margaret
border.
Sanger.
The open border. The open border. Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of humor in here. Folks is not women's, but Folks is shelter. Yeah, but this one ought to be a banger, fun. So I hope you guys will pick this one up and
This ought to be
Yeah.
a
throw him a little
fucking
business.
banger.
He actually said
He's
it
not
was
here
as
in
well.
the chat tonight. It's odd.
He was here,
earlier.
but he was earlier, but he maybe got driven off. I don't know, but we're still gonna
I'm out of here.
we're still gonna shill for him anyway because he was
Oh,
nice
yeah.
enough to send this.
Looks good.
So it looks good. I like it. Some neat artwork. Rules: no sex, no fighting, no escaping. Be
What
nice
in
to
the
guards.
hell is that?
I don't know. It's got hair under its pits though, so I'm pretty sure.
Ma'am.
Okay, guard, you have to be the judge here. Is
Oh
she
wait a
buff
minute!
enough?
I just noticed it's wearing a. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, wearing a bra, sir. It's
Yes.
ma'am.
It's wearing a bra.
Is she buff enough for you?
Well,
Let's say she's got to go over the border there for me.
she got to shave them pits, but other than that, yeah.
She got to shave them
It's
titties.
natural. Stop.
Gotta be
I'm a real
Gotta-
woman.
Gotta be
I
French.
like the musk.
Right down to the balls.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Right down to the balls.
Hello, my name's Stephanie.
Jesus.
I like young feminine men.
Just want to remind everybody out there that Week in Geek actually does support LGBTQ people, but yeah,
But
like
we
on my
laugh
own
at
ass.
everything. To be fair, I mean,
yeah, we do. We do laugh at everything.
T-shirted, you always say that you're the B in LGBT. I'm the
Yes,
L.
I am.
I've loved pussy my whole life. So
There you go. There you go.
Jesus Christ.
You have
I'm as
to be able-
straight as a crooked arrow.
I sure do love cats.
wait. Oh.
The thing is, we laugh at everybody, including ourselves. You know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We can find humor in all things, including our own, detrimental humor, like where you make fun of yourself to an almost mean point. We still laugh at it. They're just like, "You're attacking me personally." Yeah, that's what we do around here. Are you new? What's going?
Anyway, yeah. So we had a little positivity at the beginning, a little positivity at the ending. So we had a good show, I think. So
And we needed that because we ended very much laughing and smiling, just the way we started, without all that shit that we had to talk about in the middle.
that's right. That's right.
right.
Anytime we have to talk about WOTC, it's yeah,
At least it's a pretty turd sandwich.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm exclusively not doing WOTC this week. I just can't. I'm not even.
You're still gonna do it. Don't lie.
I mean,
I'm
it's
not gonna
like
do it. So it takes like one step forward. Fuck.
Fuck.
Hey, guard, bro.
right.
Life is like a shit sandwich. The more bread you have, the less shit you have to eat.
yeah. There you go.
Until you step in it.
Okay.
Well, I think I actually had this discussion with Ironcaster at one point. I said, dude, how long have we been covering WOTC? Hadn't it been like since October? And
When did the Hadosy thing start?
Yeah, I was
No,
like,
even before that, Radiant Citadel,
yeah. So
and then it basically turned into
Strixhaven
every
prior to
single
that.
week.
yeah, Strixhaven prior to that. So yeah, they've just been a constant source of ammunition in content. Yeah,
Joey and
Call it
content.
I call it ammunition, but yeah. So I don't know when they're gonna decide to finally fall off of our radar, but as long as they keep saying stupid shit and putting out crap, I mean.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be for a while. I mean, you got the movie coming out soon. You got.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Well,
I still got
I'm going to make a.
Planescape to come out.
I'm going to make a prediction right now. I'm going to go live on the air here and say this movie is going to be successful.
Well,
In
the thing
Brazil,
is-
especially.
Oh,
Well,
God,
you
where
look
they
at the budget,
lit up all
it was
Brazilians.
the thing is, as a total, came out to about $45 million total, which is by all considerations a relatively small. So if this thing could hit 150 million, it's good. And even then, I'm overselling it a bit.
It's going to double down just on streaming, not even counting theaters. So
Opening weekend, it'll make more than it cost. That's
Yeah.
my
Oh, yeah.
prediction. It's going to be a successful movie.
Well, if we're just talking domestic, I think it'll probably hit about 50 to 70 million in the US.
Well, there's enough people that have already forgiven WOTC, so
Allegedly.
50
to 70 is enough.
We had a nice week of what's the word when everyone's together,
camaraderie.
yeah,
Yeah.
camaraderie, whatever you want to call it, and then everything fell apart again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and I went to shit.
Pretty much. I
The
did
alliance
find-
has been broken.
I did find this little gem I wanted to share with you guys, just because I want to see you laugh before we go. And it comes from our friend courtesy over at the Echo Chamberlain, who I really love this guy's videos so much. It's like I tune into him just to hear him talk about this.
Screenwriting process for the Rings of Power is an elaborate one. First, the writers develop a draft where a Celtic and Nordic feudal fantasy epic penned by a Catholic old gent nearly a century ago can be enhanced and improved upon by being made to reflect the modern world. Next, the draft is circulated among the homeless community, where the warm splattered diarrhea of their most unwashed is smeared over the paper with an extra coating of fecal filth added from the lavatory at a truck stop. Then, using advanced motion sensor technology at a cemetery, they are able to locate the final resting places of generations of former writers who are literally rolling over in their graves, exhume them, grind up their bones into a powder to be mixed grittily into the excrement-soaked pages of the script, and then run that document through a chain of Amazon executives, each contributing COVID sneezes, dandruff, semen spray, and other effluvia until the finished product, a sopping, barely intelligible mess, is retranscribed by a diversity hire intern who has lost one contact lens.
hold on, T-shirt. What was the one where like it explains like this lovely island town of white, black, and Latino, and the town of white, black.
I know that one.
You gotta play that. You gotta play that shit, dude. That
Okay.
kills me every fucking time.
Does it?
Insular Island Nation of Numenor.
Yes.
Where white.
The world of The Witcher, Blood Origin, is a medieval realm divided into 3 kingdoms that have been at war for 1,000 years. Want to explore the exotic serpent clan who serve the southern kingdom of Darwin? Well, be introduced to a mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino people you find in relative proportion in metropolitan Los Angeles. What about the Raven clan that defends the northern kingdom of Prussia, a place where the inhabitants are the same mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino in relative proportion to metropolitan Los Angeles? Finally, take a journey to the mysterious far-off kingdom of Zintrea, where the folk are the same mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino in relative proportion to metropolitan.
Have you not seen this dying breed?
But don't fear,
No, I
if you
have
still have
not.
a yearning for exotic medieval fantasy, then embark on a journey of escapist epic adventure in Willow, set in the ancient kingdom of Tur Azlin, where the folk are the same mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino in relative proportion to metropolitan Los Angeles. And from there, be swept away in the grand fantasy spectacle of The Lord of the Rings of Power, where the insular island society of Numenor is made up of a mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino people in relative proportion to metropolitan Los Angeles. Then be swept forth to the distant and utterly different geography and climate of the Southlands, a pastoral folk made up of exactly the same mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino people in relative proportion to metropolitan Los Angeles.
Like it's true.
It's true.
Yep.
Like I'll be driving and I'll hear white. I start I'm trying to drive, trying to like cry of laughter because it's like an earworm. The same mix of white, Black, Asian, and Latino.
You can't look at the world the same way afterward. I mean, it's just
No water.
And I can't wait. It's like I almost want to play in some 5e games just so I can ask, what color are these people?
So, are there also white, Black, Asian, and Latinos in this city? No. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
I'm sorry. I would like your game to have a mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino people in exactly the same proportion as modern day Los Angeles.
Wait. Say that again. You ready? Go ahead. Start.
A mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino people in exactly the same proportion as modern day Los Angeles.
There you go. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, that's basically what Hogwarts Legacy is. 1890s Scotland. Known for its diversity, and like
Yes.
literally like 70%
White,
of the
Asian,
school
Black,
is like
Latino.
Yes,
literally
yes.
70% of the school is like Asian,
Black,
brown,
Latino,
yeah,
or
yeah,
Asian in exactly the same proportion as modern day Los Angeles.
Yeah. It's actually really hard to make like a really pale character in the character creation. Like they actually had to mod that so you could like look like an Irishman.
Oh, I still remember. What is it? The both of the South Park games that released, and the difficulty level made your character darker.
Yeah, I know. That shit was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
That was actually a really good RPG too. Like the
It
first,
was.
I only played the first one, but yeah.
I played them both. I loved them both. The second one, I literally fell out of my chair laughing because it was so funny.
But mechanics wise, it was actually like really well done.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Why is this joke game so competent?
Yeah,
exactly. Why joke game so good? It's not supposed to be that good. It's supposed to be joke because humor takes work, guys. But anyway, all right. Well, we're down to just 7 viewers, so people are tired of our shit apparently. So I guess we need to go.
Man, so am I.
Next week we'll do the Monster Girl tier list.
We will rate all the Monster Girls from waist and up.
All right, I'll fire up the AI art for it.
Oh God, no.
Let's see, furry conservative snake girl. Red hat.
What color are they?
What is this, guard bro? What did you link me to?
Oh, what? Oh, that shouldn't be there. Go ahead. It's funny.
Oh, okay. I don't know what this is.
I was trying to send to a friend of mine. It's men bowing down to women to atone for oppression.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen that. I saw that when they originally
supposed to
came
go to my
out.
Discord, so my bad.
Yeah.
A black thief. I haven't seen that before. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What the Marlon Wayans in the original Dungeons and Dragons film? Yeah. We haven't seen a black thief. We haven't seen a black elf before. Dungeons and Dragons 2000? Anybody? But anyway. All right, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with us, all 8 of you who are still here. And hey, we love you, man. We hope we see you again next week in Geek. Who knows what'll happen then? I'm sure WOTC will do something stupid for us to talk about. So, because they always do. Look at Ironcaster. He's so excited for that. Till then, y'all.
More suffering.
Yep. Y'all take care. Night.
Latest, everyone.
I gotta get more alcohol.
Yep.
Fetch.
On behalf of the staff of the Independent California Motel, I wish you all sweet dreams. Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.